Hello, hello. Good evening. Thank you for the double pat. Wow. Would you look at that? It's a new year. It's a new year. I forgot how I wanted to continue that sentence actually. So, welcome in to actually the first stream of this year. For me personally. It is a new year. New year, double the pats. Ooh, we're doubling the pats. No, we're trying to reach the 5,000 sometime soonish. I was originally, actually, I had grand plans. Sometime last year, some months back, I had grand plans that once the new year hit, I would do a big anniversary stream. And be all, oh hey, it's a new year, here's a bunch of new things, and then I was sick, and then I wasn't home for the most part, so I'm hoping to maybe do it slightly belated, because technically, yes, we have already passed the anniversary date since I first started streaming. I'm trying to do soonish, sometime in January still, but I need a little more time. So here we are, we're just gonna continue on as normal. Like we have. I'm not very good at special dates, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very bad at remembering them or doing anything special for them. 54! Hell yeah. Probably not 54 tonight, but hey, 54. So, what we're gonna do? A new stream time! Hello! Good evening! How are you? Happy New Year! I have to. I'm still saying Happy New Year at work. And probably the entire week is gonna be all Happy New Year to everyone you're talking to for the first time again. Oh, Happy New Year! Funniest thing is, it wasn't even January 2nd. It was January 4th apparently. But for some reason, I got it in my head that it was January 2nd. But I found out when I went back and checked my very first VODs and everything. Like, it was actually January 4th. So last year I actually celebrated at the wrong time. But this is fine. This is fine. We're gonna do a little celebration on one of the next weekends, I guess. No. So somewhere along those lines. That's the plan. I am good. I am tired. I'm very tired. So I've turned on every light in my room to make my brain think it is lighter out than it actually is, because you know it's very dark outside already. To try and not be as tired. My holidays were exhausting. Most of the extra Christmas holidays was sadly spent with being sick and then being around family members who were also in various states of coughing and overeating, because that's all you do during Christmas time. You eat and you sleep and you eat some more. But the New Year's was very fun. I visited friends. We had a big party. How can you party any other day than the date? No, we had a big party on New Year's. I am way better. I'm just hoping that, now that I'm back at work and now that I'm not gonna be around people and getting sick immediately after again. I'm over it. This is the second year in a row I was sick during Christmas times, and while this year wasn't quite as bad as last year, at least, like, I could feel miserable all by myself because I was just like, no, I'm so sick, I'm not gonna see anyone. And this year I was like, oh, it's not that bad. You can still come visit family. You can still do this. And I'm like, yeah. But I live. But yeah, New Year's was big party time. Like, on New Year's, we got home at close to 6 a.m. and I think we went to sleep. Like, I remember falling asleep sometime around 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, it was a fun night, but I'm not doing that again anytime soon. That is too much. Too much. But yeah, that was my junior. Yes, my junior. Well, yeah, plan for tonight is check out this game, Moonless. I know nothing about. We're continuing the same way we've always been. I know nothing about the games I'm starting. It's a text-based adventure game. It is a visual novel. It does have a few things. It has to have some riddle sections apparently, but everything else it's basically. I think I saw a review say it's basically like a movie. You're pretty much watching a movie or something along those lines. So I'm interested in seeing how that's gonna go. Going in blind is the best way. Yeah. To be fair, it depends. It depends on the type of game it is. Like for some games, I'm like, I think I should have gone into it with a little more knowledge at least, so I knew what to expect. When it comes to like gameplay, you know, so I don't end up buying yet another platformer that I'm never going to complete. Entire vacation? Yeah, no, absolutely not. I only did that one day, and we completely fucked over our sleep schedules for the remainder of the week that I was there. So we ended up having breakfast at like 5 in the evening because that's the first meal of the day we had because we, you know, slept the entire day. And then lunch sometime at 3 a.m. Like, yeah, okay. You play? Yeah, I remember. You did say, I think. At least I think you said. Well, I'm definitely interested in seeing how it's gonna be. I put the text speed to the maximum settings though, so we'll see what that's like. I also don't know if it has controller support, so we're gonna see. Or if I have to. Yeah, that feels like a no. Let's check. If I'm probably going to be covering text sometime during tonight's experience. Oh, okay, I guess that is instant then. Out of the shadow of the railway bridge and into the sunset-tinged light she walks. It feels like stepping into a whole different world. The light shines right into Yomichi's eyes, and I'm already covering text! Fuck yeah. It does have controller support. Yippee! She squints and lets the flow of people carry her forward. The station is always crowded at this time of the day. Lots of people, lots of reasons for being here. People riding on a train home, people who just arrived here, people who just stand there waiting for someone. Okay, actually, there's maybe a little too. Maybe. And I'm covering half the text. This is fine. Oh, you ended up reading both of them and loved them? Hell yeah! I did not manage to hit 50 books. I managed to hit 49. The last book I was in the process of reading, I finished on like New Year's. But I only got to 49. Not counting manga. So yeah, they were both really pleasant experiences. Ah, I'm glad to hear that. Actually, that's a good idea. Wait, let me pop over into the corner. Let me see if that's gonna make a difference. I'm just gonna be down here. Let me see if that makes any difference at all. But no, you did not say. It's the first. But I'm glad. I'm glad you had such a fun experience. I still have to read Cat Chronicles. Actually, I do have a list. Okay, hold on. Sorry to the game. I do have a list. You know, 12 months, 12 friends, 12 books. I do have a list of books. What what to read this year. I have Traveling Cat Chronicles on there. So. I should do that so I finally know. So I finally know as well. I do wanna spend some time actually talking about the books, all of the books I read last year. But some other time. A light novel to recommend? I mean, that's fair. A light novel is also a book. A book series. Maybe. Yumichi liked it that way. The endless stream of stimuli flooding her side and hearing kept her brain too busy to think. When she's surrounded like that, she almost forgets who she is. That's a huge weight off her mind. But she liked being under the bridge or in smaller alleys just as well. One road away is all it takes. The crowd feels silenced. If you listen closely, you could still hear them, but it was only a muffled war from a distant world. You could look at the wind trying to rip off the tattered posters on the walls and think about yourself in peace and solitude. The 9 has almost arrived at the station. The sun slowly goes off to be replaced by the city's lights. Yumichi strolled, waiting for the dark. Now, the station isn't close to either her home or her school. The chances of meeting anyone she knows are very, very low. The sun disappears between the buildings, leaving the sky black. Yumichi keeps walking. The things around her lose their shadows, and their silhouettes become blurry. In come the streetlights, helping those things cast shadows again, and then she loses track of where she is. And I can see the tags! Yeah. Before she knows it, she's walking in a desert. Moon's expanse of white sand and rock spreads in all directions. The sky up above is lit by endless faint stars, but there's no moon to join them. Far away toward the horizon, a blur of light wave is like a mirage. You think it was a reflection on a distant sea, but she knows it's a large moon city. She's never been there, and she couldn't even guess how many days it would take to walk all the way to it. A white desert and a black sky, those are the only 2 colors she can see. She feels she could walk for hours with no addition to the palette. And yet she keeps going, treading along as if on a familiar path. Oh yeah, it's a very cinematic experience, isn't it? She realizes something. She's not the only one who, through the silent world where, cannot flow. The riddles! You're about to play a riddle. During riddles, click on the words on the screen to examine them further and find keywords. You can place keywords in the hidden slots in the sentences at the bottom of the screen. Once you correctly complete the sentence, you'll be able to move forward with the story. I see. The desert spreads with no end inside, a world of sand and rocks. But there in the distance, like a mirage, lies a moon city. Countless stars hang from the sky, but the constellations they draw are weird and unfamiliar. Wherever she may be, she knows that she's far away. So, even there, the white sand is spotted by rocks of the same color. She tries to pick one up, but it immediately crumbles into dust. A lot of the sand used to be solid stone once. It certainly doesn't feel that way. This place feels too quiet for time to actually move forward. Ah, I found the keyword time! Oh. Is there anything else I can click on? Yes. Yumichi squints at the buildings, wondering if people live there, but the city is too far for the dark silhouettes of people to stay in the light from the windows. Even if there were people, walking all the way to them would take her days. Ah! Okay, is that both all of the keywords I can get? No, stars. I can also get stars. Okay, she's not the only one walking through the silent world where time cannot flow. That sounds about right. She realizes something. She's not the only one walking through the silent world where time cannot flow. Oh, duh. If Eventually she hears footsteps other than her own. Oh, Yumichi, a new outfit already. Oh. Turn around and there she is. This party's yesterday, aren't they cute? Well, they're unique. She enters lazily with her hazy eyes pointed at the print on Yumichi's shirt, but Yumichi knows that she's more interested than she shows to be. Hello? You know, I've been wondering. You live in that city over there, right, Madoka? That I do. Isn't that far? At least everything that's on the right side we're all struggling to read. I can read it, you guys can see it. This is perfect. Perfect. I guess you could say it is. How do you come all the way here then? Madoka gazes at the mirage-like city she just said she lives in. Did you know? She asked with a sudden impertinent smile on her face. Know what? The skipping along makes you faster. Almost as fast as light. I didn't know that. I feel like I would be better off if I put myself like in the upper left corner actually, when it comes to text. Yumichi tries skipping, but each step still only brings her one step forward. That's how that usually goes, yes. Oh. Oh! Good evening! It's very pretty. What originally drew me to this game was definitely the art style, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little surprised they're apparently using the full version of the song as the game opening. Oh fuck yeah. A 3D stoplight. No. As far as I'm aware, no. is a text-based adventure game, though. As in, it do be a visual novel. Oh, very, very. Very nice song. Also, the singer's voice sounds familiar to my ears, but I can't place it. And I got an achievement. Ooh, outline seaside. Oh god. Oh, you get to actually look at all of that. Okay. I see. I would like the next story then. Oh, do you think we get a song every chapter? Once school is over, Yumichi chooses her shirt for the day, puts it on, and leaves the house. You can still see the sun in the sky, but you can't see the text. Okay, you know what? No, I refuse to. Nope. Nope. No. All right. Maybe I'll be slightly less in the way. Over on this side. Maybe it's an improvement. Vampire anyway. Hi Hanu, how are you? Goodbye. No, it's okay, I'll stay up here. Thank you for the invite, by the way. Her destination is a park not far from her home. It's a small park in a residential area with little to boast other than a rusty slide and a dirty bench. A sad place she's never seen children play in. A bad wings redeem when, haha. I mean, no. What do you think? What do you think about these? That are not attaching where they should. Yeah, no. No Esperatu. Yeah. I do want to watch that movie, actually, genuinely. Maybe I will. Yeah, did you know I actually moved to Australia? Thank you for the bet. She sits on a slide's ladder and pulls out her phone. It's not worth it to risk the bench, considering how it's almost always wet. Friends from her class are talking about next week's test in a group chat. They ask her if she remembers what was supposed to be in the test, to which she replies with a simple no. One little sky is left uncovered by the old houses around the park that's turning red. Eventually night comes. The shadows inside the park merge with the darkness outside. They're pretty close to Journey, haha. I think you mean the other Australia. Oh my god. As the wind seems to take away the last ray of light still hitting the city. Yumichi finds herself standing inside a dark tunnel. I am trying to place... These are like real places photographed and then put through like a generous amount of filters, right? This is not drawn. It's dark in front of her, dark behind her, just dark all around. Once her eyes get used to the darkness, she notices there's a very faint light seeping in through the top of the tunnel. It's a green light. Not quite sunlight, not quite fluorescent lamplight. She stretches and starts walking through the tunnel she already knows so well. When night falls, she finds herself in new worlds. She doesn't even remember when this all started, but she's pretty sure it didn't used to happen when she was a little girl. It probably was around the time she entered middle school. In any case, if she's alone at night, she'll suddenly get transported to some unusual place. Is it just her mind traveling? Is her body also coming along for the ride? She has no idea. They do look like photographs, right? Like something about how the shadows, mostly this part here, how these shadows, this is definitely from an actual picture that was put through a bunch of filters. At first she thought they were just weird dreams. Then she started worrying she was going insane. But eventually she got used to it. She can't predict where she will be transported or when, but she doesn't get surprised anymore when it happens. She's made friends through these travels, and now she can even walk through an eerie little tunnel without a care. Eerily. The openings in the concrete walls, they're large enough for someone to walk through. Voices come out of them, shouts, whispers. After going past a few of these openings, she finally finds the one she was looking for, marked by an unassuming sign hanging on top of it. She crouches and walks inside. Wait, but can she actively go back to places she's been to before then? If she's made friends, she does have to be going back to specific places, right? Good evening, she says. Oh, hello there. Hello? The apron-wearing young man behind the counter smiles at her. Does every character in this game just have a funky part, like of their hair dyed? There aren't any other customers tonight. Shortly after she sits in front of the counter, the bartender serves her a cup of coffee. Along with the steaming cup, he hands her a shallow glass container. It kind of looks like an ashtray, but it isn't one. Yumichi is too young to smoke anyway. She slides the container to right below her face and looks into it. It's empty and polished to a mirror sheen. She grabs the cup and takes a sip. Yumichi never particularly liked coffee. She got used to the aroma because her parents drank it every morning, but no matter how many times she tried it, she just couldn't enjoy that bitter taste. Coffee they served here, however, was the exception. The flavor was rich and complex, and you didn't need any sugar or milk to mask the bitterness. One time, she even asked the bartender if he had anything out of the ordinary to make it taste like that. When he replied nothing special, she knew there was a humble way to tell her that he put in a lot of effort in choosing the beans and extracting the coffee, while also implying that there was no secret ingredient. I don't like coffee. I think I've tried coffee like 3 times, Coffee is as bitter and deep in flavor as usual. After one sip, she puts the cup back on the counter. As she enjoys the aftertaste, she notices that tears have started streaming down her cheeks. She wasn't sad, nor happy enough to justify tears. Coffee's flavor was comforting, yes, but there was no reason for crying. And yet, every time she tasted the coffee here, she felt so warm inside that she ended up crying. She stares blankly in front of her, waiting for the tears to subside. After traversing off her whole face, the tears drop down and into the glass container. That was the currency here in this world. The bartender gives you coffee, and you pay him in tears. She's seen other customers here before, and they all did the same thing. Fill the glass container with tears, even when they were in the middle of a pleasant conversation. Once they were done, they'd give the container back to the bartender. That hadn't happened in all of the shops inside this tunnel world. There was no money, except for tears. I have, in fact, played 13 Sentinels. I have played it to 100%, but that was before I started streaming. It's also one of those games where I'm thinking of replaying it on stream for the simple reason of I loved it a lot. I even have the Japanese demo edition of the game that came out on like actual disc with a little art book and everything for just the demo. Even though this demo does give you the option to take your save file to the full game, but since I don't own the Japanese version of the full game, I could never make use of that. She thinks there's nothing about the coffee making her cry. It's just the way this world works. In her day world, you cry when you feel moved. Here, you cry when somebody gives you something. She feels that the bizarre rules of any world she visits also apply to her for as long as she stays there. Same was true of the moon world where she met Madobe. Sorry, not Madobe! She could breathe just fine despite having no air to breathe. So thank you for the follow-up, come in! Moving from a world to the next changes a lot of things. The thing is, you get used to pretty much anything eventually. At first, crying in front of people felt extremely embarrassing, but now she doesn't mind it much, because in this world, it isn't much. How are you? Welcome! She turns her teary eyes upward and sees the bartender cleaning a cup. Now she never speaks of her world while she's in the shop, But the first time she found herself here, she had started talking about it. The bartender wasn't in the least bit surprised, but he also looked like he would not care less. He treated every customer the same, regardless of who they were and where they came from. That was his policy. That made her feel comfortable, which is why she often came back and started following that rule herself. So she can go back to the worlds actively. Mind if I talk to you, Hoshi? She's forgotten how she came to know this, but the bartender's name is Hoshi. Of course, nobody even bothers asking now, you know. Is it weird? I'm sorry, I'm not used to this kind of place. Hi, Raiders! Welcome in! Hi, Sarah! Sorry. Happy New Year, welcome! Foxel Invasion, hello! Hello. Hi, Raiders. I'm new. I like the color pink. Vision out on JRPGs. I'm currently stuck in this upper left corner because I'm trying to not cover as much text in this game. But it is proving a futile endeavor. How was your stream? How was Doom? You were dooming. Dooming and glooming. Welcome. Also Pikachu for the Raiders, of course. First New Year's Pikachu. Let's go. Pikachu. Pikachu. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm good. How are you? You managed to get soft lock, but still fun. That's a positive outlook. I hope you manage to handle the being soft locked and getting out of being soft locked. I've never played Doom. I will never play Doom. I don't think that is something for me. No, don't worry. I'm not used to it either. He turns to Wanda with a look of genuine confusion on his face. How long have you been doing this? About half a year. Really? But the first time I came here was about half a year back. I'd probably just started then. It's surprising. There were a lot of people who looked like regulars at the time. They're just people who like looking like regulars. I even get first-time customers asking for the usual. And what do you serve them then? I just guess. And they don't complain? No, they don't. They have no idea what they want either. By the way, do you mind if I have something to drink too? Sure, go ahead. I mean, it's your bar. I think you can do whatever you want in there. Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. You figured it out in the end. Okay, that's good to hear. She crouches down and opens a cabinet below the counter. What were you doing before opening this place? Good question. What was I doing? Music, I think. Probably made a living out of music. You love my upside down. Yeah, I'm rebranding as a bat, actually. Surprise! So you were a musician? You could say that. That's so cool. It isn't really. I only lasted a year or so. Still cool. So you did something else before that? Before that, I drifted around for a couple of years. He stands back up and places a bottle of orange liquid on the table. It looks like liquor at first glance, but it's actually just orange juice. It's just orange juice! Most people around here do it. We work for a few years and then use our money to travel for a few years. Mostly we're trying to get to the end of the tunnel. And when we're out of money, we find a new job nearby. Rinse and repeat. You got a skedaddle? Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming by. Have a good night. Yumichi looks at the reflection of her face on the bottle. I just opened up shop here because I found the place empty. The bottles and such were all here to begin with too. Okay, that's crazy. So it was already a coffee shop before you came here? Yes, everything here belonged to someone else. The glasses, this apron, everything. Is there anything you brought here then? My clothes, I guess. I don't bring anything with me when I travel. Isn't that scary though? She stares at Yomichi. How so? I mean, you have no idea where you end up tomorrow. Indeed. Well, do you? I don't. Just thinking about what Hoshi has just said makes Yomichi feel uneasy in a way she can't quite put into words. The first thing she could come up with was talking about her dreams for the future. I guess I'll just find a job and keep working there forever. In the meantime, I get married, then get old. Normal stuff. Isn't that why everyone worries so much about the future? If everyone lived as freely as you do, there'd be no point in worrying at all. You have a point. I can't say I ever worry about it. All I can do is deal with the present. She pours the orange juice into a tall glass. The juice is cloudy and the color's uneven. That doesn't mean it's not a good choice for you. Finding a single place to work and sticking to it could work. I get bored really fast though. You really are the carefree type. Doesn't it make everything easier? Yumichi isn't so sure about that. She isn't even sure there's a correct answer to that question. Hoshi's lifestyle sounds easy, she couldn't help but feel worried about having no clear path in her life. In her case, that sense of uneasiness would be stronger than the enjoyment she could get out of it. But maybe a few years from now, she'll see it with different eyes. This with different eyes. I can breathe. At least all the people around these parts are like this. They just can't stay put in a place and grow roots. We just go with the flow. Like water. It's nice not to have to think about where you end up next. Yumichi's starting to get convinced about the merit of their lifestyle. So, you move out of here eventually? I sure will. When I get bored of it, or when I have enough money set aside, whichever comes first. Aw, that's sad. Why? I'm sure this place will get a new bartender in no time once I'm gone. The look of genuine confusion in his face makes Yomichi realize that for the people of this world, this is the normal way to think about things. Say, what's at the end of the tunnel? Except there was no "the" in that sentence. No idea, but I've never seen anyone come back after getting to the end, so I'm sure there's something. Which way is the end? To the right as you leave the shop. She empties the cup of orange juice in one go before making an utterly terrified face. Ugh, this is no good. Shouldn't be this sour. Yomichi laughs. I don't like orange juice. As the slowly rises out of the cup, she hears the opening behind her. Alright, what's this one gonna be? There's only the two of them in the shop. The only sound is the faintly playing record. She can't even hear any voice coming from the neighbors. She can see the steam coming out of the coffee cup. When she's here, she finds herself staring at things she normally wouldn't even notice. Alright. Neighbors. I've never been to the shop near this one. What is it? Wait, no, the other way around. I've never been to the shop near this one. What is it? I wonder. I've never been there myself. She says while staring at the wall. It could be empty, or maybe just an apartment. Oh, do I not get to see which things I can click at anymore? Do I need to find out myself now? Yeah, apparently. There are also people just living here? Oh, yes. Sometimes we need a break. I'm not open every day either. If you don't have a sign on the door, it probably isn't a shop. Ah, okay. Hey, we got the door. Keyword door. Okay. So I just click on text until I find all of my keywords. Okay, it's probably not going to be wall. I don't think the wall is slowly rising out of the cup. Oh. Record. What's this song? Yomichi asks after seeing the record player spinning in a corner of the room. Who knows? I just found it here. Hoshi replies without a hint of interest. This man is very... Okay. Anything else I can check out? Yes. Coffee cup. Oh, coffee. Okay, coffee. Steam. Alright, well, as the steam slowly rises out of the cup, she hears the door opening behind her. Sounds good, right? Yeah. The shop's door opens and two customers walk in. Seeing this, Hoshi gets back to working. All the other customers do just as Yumichi. They drink their coffee, they pay with their tears, and they don't really talk about themselves. She doesn't know whether they're travelers from this world like Hoshi, or people who stumbled in here from another world. What she does know is that nobody here would care either way. She's sneaking a glance at the customers as they order the drinks in between chatting. Suddenly, her phone buzzes in her pocket. She's disappointed. She hasn't even finished her coffee yet. She looks at the screen and sees a text from her parents. "What time are you coming home today?" The usual short question. She turns off the screen with a sigh. When she looks up, she sees Hoshi pouring a fresh cup of coffee and his hands are perfectly still. Actually, everything is perfectly still. Even the faces of the other customers and the liquid dropping from the coffee siphon. It's like being inside a painting. Shops she felt so comfortable in now gives her the kind of anxiety you get when meeting with a complete stranger. Then everything starts moving again. Instances later, it all silently crumbles. It's like a sandcastle being destroyed or like fog being blown away. Everything around her as if it was made from something lighter than sand but heavier than fog gets blown away by a wind that goes to nowhere in particular. It all collapses, melts together, and disperses so thin that you can't see it anymore. When she tries to touch the still half-full cup of coffee in front of her, it disappears as if she had tried to grab a puff of smoke. Oh, and then she's back. She's sitting by herself on a bench in a park she was in before. A lone streetlight coldly shines down on her. Her pants are wet because of the bench. It's uncomfortable. I do wonder if the movement she makes in that other world does kind of get transported over, because wasn't she specifically thinking about not touching the bench because it's wet? And now she clearly sat on it. Yumichi loves drinking coffee in a tunnel shop. She likes the eeriness of the tunnel, she likes how she'd end up crying even without any strong emotion, and she likes the way the bartender talks. Oh, and we're back on the moon! She likes the moon world where Madobe lives just as much. How do you skip? What, you can skip? It's not like I can't. Yumichi skips 3 times and overtakes Madobe. See, I can do it, but it's just normal skipping. What's the thing about being faster than light? Seeing other people skip is kind of funny. Sheesh. What she likes the most is strolling through that empty landscape while making small talk. When she's doing that, she feels more at home than when she's in her actual living room, or when she's talking with her classmates at school. She rarely speaks to Madobe about her life in the day world, but she feels like the kind of person that you could talk about anything with. Yes, she can talk about what she really wants to with Madobe. Skipping is like, well, do you ever watch videos on your phone? Yeah, of course. And you can skip ads and such, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. You instantly move forward in time by skipping. Wait, that's also skipping, but is that what you meant? Skippable ads. In what world? It is. Madobe laughs so hard that she squints. She looks like she's having so much fun that Yumichi can't help but laugh as well. She knows that Madobe makes no sense most of the time. Maybe she's doing it on purpose. Maybe there's a rule of this world, just like the weird rules in a tunnel world, and Yumichi as a newcomer doesn't get it yet. Not back in the ancient age of 2018. What even is this world? Why is she here? Yumichi has no clue. Walking around in here makes her feel at ease, but with a faint melancholy aftertaste. These worlds she stumbles into disappear at the drop of a hat. All it takes is her phone ringing, or even just thinking too hard about the day world, and it all goes away like fog in the wind. She can come back eventually, but she really has no say in the matter. Maybe tomorrow, when the sun sets, she won't actually get transported anywhere. Lately she wonders whether it's okay for her to be in these places at all. Thinking that the fun she has chatting with Madobe could suddenly end forever is as sad as it is scary. Moreover, the thought that she only feels at home in these weird, ethereal, wait, how do you stress that? Ephemeral? Ephemeral. No, ephemeral. Places is just as scary. Would she be fine if she lost the ability to visit them? Probably not. These worlds are already something that she cannot live without. Ephemeral. Okay. I had the right idea the first time then. Thank you. There's another thought that she tries to shove away from her mind. Maybe she's the one who created these worlds. Children take in the stories of books and TV shows and start creating things in their imagination. Worlds where they are rescued by charming princes, or where they live a laid-back rural life in the forest. Could it be that she walked into a figment of her imagination? That would mean that no part of what she sees now is real. She would just be creating pleasant illusions to escape reality. Maybe one day she will have to forget about these worlds. Maybe she will find somewhere in a day world where she feels at home and can live a normal life just like everyone else. But that day could very well be today. Still, she can't say goodbye to Mother Bear. She keeps half listening to her weird, possibly fake tales with a smile on her face. Sand Moon. Oh, Yumichi, welcome. When she walks into the small chimney-crowned hut, Yumichi is greeted by a lady who is busy making soup. Soup! Soup! The lady covers a soup pot with a lid and opens a cabinet nearby. The shelves are full of all kinds of things, seemingly in layers, with the ones at the bottom looking as old as the shelves themselves and getting more and more new looking the closer to the top they get. The lady gets a small box from near the top of the cabinet and places it on the table in the center of the hut. There are a fireplace, a cabinet, and a table. There's also a small bed and a window that you can see the sky through, and that is all the furnishing of this tiny brick hut. Yumichi looks at the box. It is a small wooden box with a glass cover, and inside of it there's a single butterfly with beautiful green wings. The butterfly does not move, it is a replica. Yumichi takes the box in her hands and gazes at how the light reflects off of the butterfly's wings. Once satisfied, she puts it back on the table and sits on one of the two chairs there. You wish to be a cat, roll up and immediately be comfortable and warm. Ain't that a mood? I too wish to be a cat. Wanna eat something since you're here? Says the lady after going back to the pot. Thanks, just a bit though, she replies. The lady with a childish laugh takes 2 shallow bowls out of the cabinet. Childish. The words feel somehow rude. With her shoulder-length wavy hair and her simple dress, the lady looks just as young as Yumichi. But a calm and subtly refined demeanor make Yumichi think that she is, in fact, a lady, quite a few years older than her. Can I ask you something, Ito? Of course. Of course, of course. Of course, she softly replies. Her hair hides her face, but Yumichi can guess that she is smiling. Everyone, including Yumichi, calls this lady Ito, but as it turns out, this is not her real name. She doesn't even have a real name. She doesn't need one. That is what she told Yumichi when the two first met. Why would someone living alone in a small hut need a name for? It's not like there's anyone calling for her. Except, of course, for occasional guests like Yumichi, resort to calling her Ito. Yumichi has to wonder what it feels like living without anyone ever calling your name. Why do you have chairs and dishes in pairs even though you live alone? Ito hands a bowl of soup to Yumichi and then sits down on the other side of the table. The soup glistens as if it were liquid gold. Because I get guests sometimes like you now. She laughs once again. The extent of her elegant and refined demeanor ended when she opened her mouth. Somehow, to Yumichi, the way she spoke felt like the purest, most unadulterated way to speak. It had the purity of someone who naturally picked up on words by living alone in a hut. Oh, but come to think of it, it's because I used to live with my mom here. You have a mom? Of course, I didn't grow in a cabbage field. No, yeah, I mean, so what about your dad? Ito shakes her head. That I don't have. Did he pass away? No, I just never had one. It's just mothers who give birth to us, by themselves, naturally. I know it sounds weird, but that's how it is. Oh. Yumichi assumes that this is just another way in which this world's rules are different from her own. She knows that there are all kinds of worlds, and Ito is probably the only inhabitant of this one. All the guests that come to visit her do so from other worlds. This is actually how Yumichi first learned that there are other people able to travel between worlds. Not that she's ever run into one. Yumichi brings a spoonful of soup to her mouth. The gold liquid tastes as precious as it looks. The large pieces of carrot and potato cooked to perfection and melt in her mouth. Soup. Oh, I could go for some soup right now. Are all of these veggies from your field back there? Oh yes, I grew all of them myself. That's impressive. I only grow what I need to eat. I also use some ingredients that people brought me for the bouillon though. I only have sheep around here. People as in guests? Yes, but sometimes they bring me stuff, like the butterfly. Ito points at a small wooden box with their gaze. This isn't the first time someone had given Yumichi a replica like this. Can I ask about that? Go ahead, as long as they're questions I know the answer to. Who brought you this, and why? Did they ask you to give it to me? As for who, I can't quite remember. It wasn't even that far back, but I just forgot. Her usual smile makes it difficult to tell whether she's avoiding the question or she genuinely doesn't know. And I was told to give this, yes, but probably not to you specifically. If I recall correctly, I was told to give this to the next person to visit me. After swallowing the soup, Yomichi goes back to staring at the butterfly's wings. Sometimes, people from other worlds give her insect replicas. Nobody ever told her the reason behind it or why they are insect replicas specifically. All they tell her is to bring them back with her. They aren't even gifts per se, she's just keeping them for someone else, apparently. She had no clue where these replicas came from and where they were supposed to go, but she still went ahead and took them. Maybe this is yet another weird rule from another world. Still, it's a very small price to pay for this good of a soup. God damn it! How much soup? Looking at the reflected into the soup, Yumichi takes the in her hand. Alright. The sunlight coming in through the window and the flames roaring in the fireplace enshroud the hut in a gentle light. The corners of the hut are always left in the shadow, but here even that feels cozy. The furniture is only comprised of the bare minimum: a table, a cabinet, a fireplace. Even though she looks like she has a lot of free time on her hands, Ito never looks bored. Alright, check out the window. The glass panes on the window are perfectly clean, but the scene behind them looks distorted. Glasses are liquid, it just kind of distorts over time, Ito explains. For real? Who knows, but I heard someone say that it was. Nice, okay, I found the keyword glass. Anything else? Okay. Flames. Fireplace. A crackling sound comes from the fireplace. Its wavering light dances on the ceiling. Do you get the firewood yourself? Rarely. Some guests just bring it to me and it's usually already the right size. Oh, so it's not from here. Of course, there are no trees here. What? You have no trees? Oh, that's crazy. Wait, you burn wood, but you don't have any trees. If you got trees in the field behind your house, could you do without people bringing wood to you? I wonder. I feel that even if I plant the trees, they wouldn't grow. There have never been trees here after all. Yumichi wonders if the wooden spoon in Ito's hand was also brought here from another world. Okay. Field. Spoon. Oh, we're getting a lot of keywords, huh? Okay. Fireplace. What else? Shadow. Time. What do you do in your free time? I spin the wool from the sheep to make thread and such. That doesn't really sound like free time, doesn't it? I mean, if this is the only thing you can do, aside from sleeping, breathing, eating, what else would you... Okay, looking at the reflected into the soup. Yumichi takes the in her hand. I'm assuming the spoon, that would make sense, right? Taking the spoon into her hand? But which one of the Things reflected. Flames, maybe. Oh, but it's not doing anything. Okay, maybe not flames. Shadow reflected. No, that doesn't make any sense. The ceiling reflected in the soup? Ah, the ceiling reflected into the soup. Sorry. My bad. Looking at the ceiling reflected into the soup, Yumichi takes a spoon in her hand. Followed by Ito's warm gaze, Yumichi takes another spoonful of soup. Ito... Yeah? You know that there are worlds other than this, right? Obviously, yes. I'm the only person living in this one, she replies. The words themselves were blunt, but her voice was gentle and her smile kind. You also came from another world, didn't you? Yumichi nods lightly. Don't you ever want to go somewhere? See other worlds? Not really, she immediately replies. Why not? Well, why would I? Why do you think I'd want to do that? Because in other places, there are other things. Oh, I bet there are, but I don't really feel like I want to go and see them. Yumichi worries she might have unintentionally been rude to her, but the gentleness in Ito's voice just makes it too comfortable. What if those other things were better than what you have here? Yumichi asked the question without much confidence. After all, she's not sure she's ever seen any place better than this one. There probably isn't one. She wishes there were and hopes that she'll be able to find it in one of the many worlds that she hasn't been to yet. Sometimes people will ask me that, Ito replies with a gentle, somewhat aloof voice. But I just can't imagine a place more wonderful than this. What does that even mean? A larger place? A place with more stuff in it? No matter what I imagine, what I have here seems better. I like how cozy it is and I have all I need. Of course, maybe I just say this because I don't know what it's actually outside. Yumichi doesn't know how to reply to that. One time I said the very same thing to someone. They replied that they feel for me. Poor little thing, they said. I don't get it. I'm not sure why anyone would feel for me. Do you think I'm wrong, Yumichi? Me? Well... Oh, I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely want to know. Should I really try to go somewhere? Would I find something better than what I have now? And mind you, I really can't imagine what better even means. She smiles at Yumichi, who can see her own reflection in Ito's eyes. They're bright and clear. Staring into them almost makes Yumichi feel inadequate. I'm sorry, I don't know. Yumichi looks down and finishes her soup. Ito, looking content, puts an elbow on the table and rests her chin on her hand. The whole world is this hut, the field behind it, and the small garden all around. It is complete in itself. She doesn't know about anything else and doesn't wish for anything else. If she traveled and found new wonderful things that she could start wishing for, would that make her happier? Yumichi thinks to herself while staring into the empty bowl. Ooh, are we going through the window? Ito's staring out of her one little window. I wonder if I should be more ambitious. Outside the window, the peaceful panorama seems to go on and on forever. I find it very, very funny that they're saying there's no trees there, but you can definitely see something green outside the window. Oh my god! And I don't think it's the field. After parting with Ito and leaving the hut, Yumichi stands outside, unsure of what to do. She's in the middle of a lush green prairie. Ito's small brick hut is like an island in an ocean of grass. Except for the small field behind the hut and a tiny stream flowing beside it, there's nothing but grass. No towns, no mountains, just grass. The breeze feels nice, and the sky looks as wide as it could ever be. But the prairie and the stream don't actually go on forever. This is what has left Yumichi so confused. Not too far away from the hut, both just stop abruptly. This actually was an island. An island in the sky. Ooh! A small patch of ground with an even smaller hut in the middle of it is the extent of Ito's world. Yumichi can't go back. There's no back to go to. She walks away from the hut and lies down on the grass. To say the truth, Yumichi knows how to go back. She could just text a classmate on the phone or think about the homework she has to turn in tomorrow. That would send her straight back to her own world. She wants to stay for a little longer. She wants a little more of the sunlight coming in through the sparse clouds, the fresh smell of the grass, that not quite wind, not quite breeze. She loves this world. Sunlight has never felt so pleasant in a day world. She's never laid down on the grass there. She loves the moon, the tunnel, the island, and the sky, way more than a day world. She isn't that uncomfortable in a day world. She has kind friends and teachers at school. Parents, as far as she can tell, are always putting her first. The way they always ask her when she's coming home is a bit annoying, but she understands that they do it because they love her. It's an average, happy environment to live in. But nowhere in that world can she find a place as comfortable as this deserted prairie. Nor can she find anyone who she can talk to as freely as she can with Madawin. To her, this very fact feels wrong. She's scared that one day she will wake up from this dream and will have to go on living bound to just one world. That is the world she was born in. She has no choice but to live in that one. Shouldn't be wasting time like this, she tries to persuade herself. That one little hut does look very fun. She feels the world around her growing distant. She feels like she doesn't belong. She feels sad about laying down here. She tries to shake off those feelings, but she can't. Suddenly everything crumbles into dust and fog. The whole world turns into sand and disappears. But she feels that she is the one crumbling. After all, the only thing that is disappearing is what her, Yomichi, sees. Oh. After everything has completely disappeared, she finds herself staring at the shining stars in the sky. She's laying down on the rooftop of her apartment. The pleasant smell and soft texture of the grass are nowhere to be found. The hard concrete floor hurts her back. The only thing remaining of that world is the butterfly replica in her hand. Okay, so she's definitely doing some of the movements she's doing in those other worlds then. Absolutely. Tiny house. This game has achievements. Oh, okay, we just finished chapter 1. Interesting. The next day, when Yomichi wakes up in her room, she can no longer find the butterfly replica. The empty box is still on her desk where she put it last night. The lid is still closed and intact. The butterfly somehow isn't there. It's as if, during the night, it came alive and magically escaped through the glass. This happens every time she brings back an insect replica from another world. The insect just disappears while she's not looking. She once tried to apologize for this to the person who given it to her, but she was met with laughter, so that was probably intended. Still, she can't understand what this is all about or where the butterfly has gone off to. She puts the empty box away into a drawer. She has a few of them already in there. She could throw them away, seeing how the important part is the replica inside. She stores and treasures them. After all, that is the only thing she can bring back from the world she visits. Now they are proof of her connection to those places. One day they will be a memento. I mean, they're still pretty boxes. There's no school today, so Yomichi wears the shirt that she just got yesterday and goes out. She's riding the train to her usual station, a large station full of people. It isn't even the largest station in the area, and it's a bit far from both her house and her school. She has no real reason to go there. The people going around town all have reasons, all have goals, getting to work, shopping, having a secret meeting with someone. If she happens to sit next to one of them, that's nothing but a coincidence. She doesn't talk to them, she doesn't look them in the eye, and she overall pretends that they don't exist. This is nothing like students bullying a classmate by pretending he doesn't exist. When you're crossing the street and someone is approaching from the opposite direction, you step aside in order to avoid them so as to not hurt each other. That is what this is. She avoided everyone's gaze like an animal, trying to convey that it isn't trying to threaten anybody. If anything, that is a way of connecting with people in itself. Kindness and avoidance even. At the same time, no matter how many people she has around her, she always feels alone. Every single individual sharing the space with her is actually living in their own little world. I wonder if one could pinpoint the exact time that the picture just now was taken, just by seeing or looking up when those advertisements were, posted. She gets out of the station and into a smaller street where the buildings cut out some of the sunlight and most of the noise. Around her fancy cafes, deserted thrift shops, stores dealing in unguessable goods, and multi-store buildings. Oops. She's never come here before. Despite all the walking she's done around this city, there's still dozens of streets which are completely new to her. Thank you for the hydrate time. That's a good idea, actually. Thank you for the pat. The hand is also upside down. We're all upside down. She keeps walking under the building's shade while peeking into the windows of the many intriguing stores. She sees someone walk around the corner. She could only catch a single glimpse of this person. But a glimpse was enough to surprise her. Who did you see? The person looked like Madobe. Yumichi stops walking. She's feeling something familiar, like when a world crumbles into dust before her eyes. She feels as if she's floating in mid-air. The world around her suddenly stops feeling real. But the day world doesn't crumble and disappear. The colors that seem to fade come back as soon as she blinks. There we go. Had you pat someone upside down without the pat being upside down? You just stroke them with the back of your hand. Like, She considers running after the person, but she doesn't. Madobe could never be in this world. It must be someone else who just happens to look like her. Maybe this person doesn't even look like Madobe all that much, but Yumichi feels she does because of how much she wants to see her. She sighs and drops her gaze to the floor. She feels her throat clenching. This feeling of pathetic sadness brings her on the verge of tears. She needs that world, so much so that she hallucinates its inhabitants even in broad daylight. Walking on its street seems to flip everything on its head. The real world now feels like an illusion, a dream, a distant mirage. I'm not fine, she thinks to herself. She's addicted to Madobe and all those other worlds. Those dreamlike worlds are starting to take over her reality. With no little effort, she keeps herself from just dropping down on the floor. After a while, she starts walking again. As she passes by it, she gives a quick glance to the alley that the Madobe lookalike walked in earlier. It was a dark, damp alley, with nobody in it. Back street. It's back, alright. I wonder why I'm here. Yumichi asks nobody in particular. She often finds herself asking that question whenever she's walking through the vast expanse of the moon desert. Nothing but sand all the way to the horizon. The stars in a dark canopy above have nothing to lit. It feels like being the only person in the whole universe. What? Have nothing to lit? Wouldn't that have nothing to light? Feels like being the only... Okay. But if Yumichi is on the moon, that means that there's a certain someone nearby too. Going through your philosophical phase? Madobe asks nonchalantly. I'm giving her a different voice every single time. This is horrible. Maybe I am. Whenever she comes here, Yumichi always runs into Madobe. She isn't trying to. After all, she still doesn't know how to get to that faraway city, and they aren't arranging it beforehand. Every single time it just happens. Seeing her face is what makes this moon world feel complete. It's a difficult age to be at. Did you go through the phase too? Oh, I sure did. I'd be saying my heart out even in deep dark nights like this one. And now as an adult, Yumichi says, unsure whether the dark sky above her is indeed a nightly one. Do you ever think that was silly of you? Sometimes I think back to it and start laughing. Madobe replies while walking with long, wide steps. But you know, that's fine. This phase where you sigh night after night is not as long as you think. So who cares? Enjoy being a budding lady. Not sure enjoy is the right word. Spoken like a budding lady indeed. Oh, shut up. Yumichi is shocked by how she can be so openly blunt. She and Madobe don't even know each other that much, nor do they have any idea of what the other does exactly for these long walks together. Are these coming of age stories do a number on me? I don't have any idea what you're agonizing over so much. Manabe keeps looking straight in front of her. It's not like we're here laughing our hearts out because we solved all of our problems. Sometimes you're too busy, sometimes you just can't do enough, but still, here we are. So I'm not trying to preach, mind you, she continues. Hey, things be what they is, you know. Yumichi does not, in fact, no. Have you actually been worried by anything lately? She asks. That sure is blunt. Sorry. Nah, I like your youthful honesty. Worries, huh? I'm up to my neck in those. No, actually, you're up to your neck in a turtleneck sweater. Are you wearing under that jacket? Madobe raises her hand as if to start counting, but it takes her a good while before raising a single finger. For example, say, my favorite coffee shop just changed to some new beans. That's underwhelming. Yumichi wonders if the coffee shops on the moon are anything like the ones she knows. All she has seen here says desert. By the way, why do you come out here to this desert? What, here? Just to walk? So far away? Well, yeah. Manabe sees Yumichi's eyebrow rising and starts laughing. Oh, I get it. It's nothing weird, really. It's like going for a drive or going to see the city by night. Same thing. Same thing. This desert. Girls who treasure their alone time love it. Oh. This explanation isn't very convincing, but if Madobe says it's popular with moon people, Yumichi has no choice but to believe her. Even at school, the games and books popular with the boys made no sense to Yumichi. She tells herself that this is more or less the same thing. The two keep walking together with just enough distance between themselves that they couldn't touch each other's outstretched hand, but barely, that they could. What? Did I say could or couldn't? Oh my god. She looks at Madobe's Yumichi remembers how the looked. Alright. Far away past the desert, there's a city. Yumichi can see its lights, but she cannot hear a single noise coming from it. It could be because it's so far away. It's difficult to believe that Madobe actually lives there. Alright, what can we get here? Desert. City. How many people are there in that city? Huh? I'm not sure. I never counted. So there are so few that you could just count them? Nah, that would be impossible. Look, can you tell how big of a city it is? Oh, I can check out people as well. Are the people in the city normal humans like us? I guess they are. I'm not sure what you mean by normal, but they're just like the two of us. Like, they're not immortal or anything. Oh no, I wish. I like being immortal. Oh, you would like being immortal? Wait. Any other words I can get here? Aside from checking out immortal? No? Okay. I'm not sure I'd like being immortal. Why not? I mean, what would I even do with all that time? Be free, fly around, like butterflies. I wish I had some of what you have, Madobe. Ooh, butterflies. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, no. City. Noise. Is the city as silent as here? Oh, not at all. It's so noisy. Noisy enough that I come all the way here to take my walks. Is that because there's so many people in there? Well, mostly it's construction sound. The sound of the city getting bigger. Not so soothing, is it? Ugh, construction. Walks. Ah, I can check out construction. Okay. Yumichi remembers that there's a construction going on in the alley behind her house as well. Yeah, not soothing at all. Right? I wonder whose idea it was to have pipes and cables running through the whole city. It made the whole place so noisy. I'm not sure we're on the same page here. Maybe she will tell you more about the city and the pipes as soon as I find out what word it is I have to click on. No? Okay. Lives. You live in a city, right? What's your job? That's a secret. You can tell me? I mean, that's more that it would be hard to explain. Probably a job you don't know. Hearing this Madobe's back suddenly feels like it's gotten far, far way out of reach. Job? Back? Okay. I think I have every word. Okay. As she looks at Madobe's back, Yomichi remembers how the alley looked? Or the... Yeah, the haha. Call me the Riddler. Madobe's back reminds Yomichi of the person she saw earlier in the day world. That can't be her. Madobe lives on a moon and knows nothing about the day world. She could never be in that city. But the butterfly replica did make it all the way into her world. Maybe, just maybe, she could bring Madobe back with her as well. Yomichi closes the distance between the two and grabs Madobe by the hand. Look at the child. She explains that she wants to try something and Madobe immediately agrees. So what should I do? The eagerness is as unexpected as it is comforting. Even if she actually made it to another world, to her, that would probably only count as a fun little trip. Instead of explaining to Madobe what she is trying to do, she starts thinking of how to actually do it. If anything, she's the one who would like an explanation. Assuming Madobe could come with her, what then? Yomichi asks herself this question before replying to Madobe, but she still doesn't know. What then? Probably nothing. If she walked around the day world with Madobe, it would probably all start feeling like a dream, just like these worlds feel during her normal day-to-day life. Nevertheless, she wants to try. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do myself, she lets slip as she tries to answer Madobe. Madobe breaks in genuine, heartfelt laughter. Of course you don't. You're a budding lady after all. These words make Yomichi realize that she's not the only one to have ever suffered this indescribable feeling. That is enough to make the weight feel lighter. I guess you're right. Grateful for Madobe, Yomichi decides that she'll try anything she can come up with. Maybe that will help her understand her own feelings better. And it's not like there's anything better to do in this huge desert. But deep down, she knows that there's another reason why she's trying. She wants an excuse to give up and let go. For the next few days after that, Yomichi tried everything she could think of. She tried doing all kinds of things in that short time between the moon world starting to crumble away and it disappearing completely. Holding Madobe's hand, holding onto one of the empty insect replica boxes together, even calling a friend from the day world and giving the phone to Madobe. Day after day, she tried everything, from things that sounded plausible to the silliest ones. But Madobe just couldn't come back with her. When the moon world disappeared, Yomichi was always alone. Seeing herself on an empty street without Madobe by her side always filled Yomichi with too much sadness for her to deal with. It felt like a happy, pleasant dream abruptly ending and shoving her back into reality, and she had to experience this over and over. Now Yomichi is all out of ideas for new things to try. Aww. She finds Madobe laying down in the desert. Her long hair is full of sand. Normally that would have you worried, but Yomichi just sits down next to her. She can see the city's blinking lights far away in the distance. Are there other cities on the moon, other than that one? She asks. No, that's the only one. Is it big? Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know how big the city you live in is, so I'm not sure how to compare. In my world, it's just city after city. And there's no desert. I guess there is, somewhere. Well, people haven't been living here for that long. The city will get bigger eventually. Maybe there'll be no desert left after a while. Really? Weren't you born here then? I was, but my grandma wasn't. Did she come here with like a rocket ship from another planet? I'm not sure. People probably came here from all sorts of places because they thought it was nice. And when enough people came, they founded the city. I wasn't here though, so I'm hazy on the details. Huh. Yumichi also lies down. The sound is soft enough to be surprisingly painless. It does kind of get into her clothes, but she has other things on her mind right now. They must have really liked this place to move all the way here. I wonder why. I mean, it's just a bunch of sand. Maybe they liked how quiet it is. Apart from their own, there was no voice to be heard. There wasn't even the sound of the wind blowing. I take it you don't like it here? I do. I love quiet places. That explains why you come so often. It's not like I come because I want to. I can't choose where I go. Yeah, makes sense. Manabe says before closing her eyes. But I bet you get to come here because you like it. I wonder. That sounds reasonable. Some of the worlds she's visited before felt uncomfortable, but she never stumbled upon those twice. Yumichi closes her eyes as well. There isn't much of a difference between the endless black sky and the back of her eyelids. And then silent tears start falling out of those very eyes. She loves this world. Being here feels nice. She wishes she could stay here forever. But it isn't her world. She has to go back and live in a day world. She knows it's true, and on some level she also knows it's the right thing for her. She can faintly hear the sound of Manabe breathing. She decides that this time will be the last. She came here tonight to say goodbye. But there's no need to say goodbye in this quiet world. She could just disappear and never see Manabe again. Eventually she could forget her. She could forget this world. She could forget all those other worlds she's seen, and then she'd be able to grow up. Even if she ended up recalling them every once in a while, they'd just be distant memories of a childhood dream. Slightly embarrassing, slightly pleasant. She waits without a word. It's even quieter than she expected. It's not as painful or sad as she prepared herself for. A single tear, that is all. The silence of the moon's surface and Manabe's breathing give way to the city's chaotic noise. People talking, cars running, ants shouting. Everything gets fused together so much that she can't make out any individual sound. It was a huge jump from the silence to this noise, but she likes it as well. It makes her feel like she's back home after a long journey. She opens her eyes and she's in the middle of the city under the night sky. I just spent more than one tear when your tear broke from all the coffee. Honestly. No more tears left to give. Oh. Oh. Oh, another animated one. Subtitles would be nice if we already have lyrics to these songs. So far, this game feels like someone's passion project turned video game, where it's like, I really want to animate a few things. Not in a bad way, mind you. Mm. Alright, why did I get 2 achievements? Ah, chapter 2. We finished chapter 2. She looks at the night sky through her window. It is silent and empty, but in a different way than a desert on the moon. Yomichi spent the last few evenings in silent boredom. As long as she stays by herself, locked up in her room, she won't be transported to any other world. She doesn't know why, but she learned this through experience. She's so bored that she started going to bed earlier. She even goes out to play with her classmates after school more often now. Walking around town or going to karaoke with them is fun in its own right. Whenever she keeps herself connected to the day world, spending time with her classmates, running errands for her parents, and so on, she cannot go to the other worlds. She also learned this through experience. The time spent in the day world has grown, and her nights are now for sleeping. As they usually are supposed to be. Today too, she's gone to bed early. It's only been a few days since she decided she would not leave this world anymore, but her memories of the other worlds are already starting to become fainter. She can't remember how it felt to cry while drinking coffee in a tunnel. The memory keeps getting farther and farther away, like a dream after one wakes up. Bull's coming from you. I know. I'm very well aware. It feels sad, it feels lonely, but it beats growing melancholy every single night. Surely one day her memories of this will be gone, taking the sadness with them. She's fine with this. Before falling asleep, she looks at the sky once more through the window, with its curtains still pulled back. In this world, there is no moon. Why do you not have a moon in what I'm assuming is supposedly the real world? It's evening. A few more days have passed since then. They're going out to play with the classmates after school. Yomichi is going back home right as the sun is setting. She started going toward a newly opened shop that she was interested in before realizing that it was farther away than she thought and going back. She's exhausted from all the walking. When she gets close enough to her home that she can see the lights coming out of its windows, she sees a girl who looks to be around the same age as her. It's too dark to see her face clearly. Yomichi walks past her, but the girl quickly stops and turns back. Yomichi. Yomichi too stops and turns back to face the girl. Huh? Asahi? Now that it's being lit by a streetlight, Yomichi recognizes the face. Or rather, she recognizes the face's owner. The face itself is much more grown up than she remembers, and stunningly beautiful. The girl in question is Yomichi's childhood friend, a year younger than her. Do we also get to see her face? No? She used to live nearby and the two of them met on a daily basis. At the time, she was Yomichi's best friend. However, she had to move away because of her parents' jobs. Two girls were too young to have phones of their own back then, so they lost all contact. Her memory in that regard is a bit fuzzy, but somehow she remembers that this parting was not particularly sad. She was probably too young to understand that maybe the two of them would never meet again. And by the time she was old enough to understand it, she was already used to life without Asahi. The two sit together on a bench in a park nearby, and Yomichi explains her emotions, or lack thereof at the time. In response, Asahi laughs. Seriously? I was pretty sad, you know? Well, everything around you changed at once. That's true, it really did. I was so nervous moving into this new place that I knew nothing about, new school and all. So you weren't sad about not being able to see me anymore, huh? I'm sure that was part of it though, pretty sure. Yomichi laughs sarcastically. That probably only lasted until you made new friends, right? Can't deny that. Talking with her fills Yomichi with nostalgia. The more clearly the memories of that time resurface, the more Yomichi realizes how much she herself has changed since then. Even if it's only been a few years, she feels like a completely different person. And the same applies to the old friend she is looking at right now. She's not the Asahi she used to know. Why are you here, by the way? Are you moving back? No, I just had some business around here and I thought I'd check things out. Oh, I see. Yomichi realizes how relieved she is at hearing that. This place hasn't changed much, it's still how I remember it. Is it? I guess it is. She almost says it. You have definitely changed though, but she manages not to. She doesn't know what exactly has changed in Asahi. She looks a bit more grown up, her high energy voice has gotten calmer, but that's not all. Oh god, yeah, I've definitely given her a high energy voice. Now Yumichi doesn't know how she's supposed to talk to her anymore. To hide the fact, she fills in the silence as best as she can. How's the place you live in now? Oh, not so bad. It's a bigger city than this. Oh. Yumichi only says that and even forgets to close her mouth. She has forgotten what she meant to say next. After all this time apart, surely they must have a lot of things to talk about, but not a single one comes to mind. Asai pulls out her phone and starts typing away on it. She doesn't seem to mind the silence as much as Yumichi does. Yumichi feels like she's talking to someone from another world. Maybe in a sense, she is from another world. Yumichi doesn't know much about the place Asahi lives in now, but it's bound to be different from here. Different people, different trends, different news, different music, different shops. Even the way people speak could be a bit different. In reality, it can't be that different. Yumichi knows this, but the gap between them feels so wide that this is the only way she can explain it. And yet, how could she have such an easy time talking to Madabe, who literally came from another world? It never felt so uncomfortable having a conversation with her. Whatever nonsense Madabe suddenly threw at her, she could reply on the spot, even though the worlds are just that far away. Yumichi still struggles to find the next topic. After a short while, Asahi says that it's time for her to go back. None of them mentions the possibility of exchanging numbers. Yumichi remains on the bench thinking by herself. She starts wondering, if she spoke of this to Madabe, what would she say? Well, you were the one who said goodbye to Madabe, so... Yumichi's glad that this world has no moon. If she was actually forced to see it hanging in the sky each night, she wouldn't have been able to stay indoors. Ever since meeting Asahi, she keeps wondering the same things. Why did speaking with Madabe come so easy to her? And what exactly is that world? Where is it? She believes that if that world is indeed somewhere, that somewhere is inside of her. It's a creation of her own mind, in other words, a dream. It wouldn't explain how she could bring back the boxes with the insect replicas inside, but that isn't so important. Maybe she was sleepwalking and actually bought them herself without realizing it. The possibility that this is all there is to it instantly fills her with dread. She cannot come to terms with her desire to talk to Madabe again. It had all just been a delusion, and she'd be longing to speak with herself. It would be hilariously sad. On the other hand, that would explain what she felt when talking with Asahi. If Madabe was just a figment of imagination, it made sense that Yumichi felt at ease talking to her, since, in practice, she was having a whole conversation just by herself. Yumichi lies down in her room and looks at the moonless sky outside. She never dreams of Madabe. One afternoon, on a day off from school, Yumichi gets a delivery. It's a small package without the sender's name. It's addressed to her, but she has no idea what it could mean. B. That's a typo. Since her family isn't home, weird as it is, she has no choice but to accept the delivery herself. She then goes back to her room. Sitting on her bed, she opens the package. It's a box with an insect replica inside. The insect is a butterfly with white wings. It's exactly the same as the boxes she has received many times during her travels in other worlds. A small wooden box with a glass lid. She's surprised and confused. When she looks at the back of the box, she becomes even more surprised. There's another recipient's address written on there. It reads Moon City, Madabe. Her head starts spinning so fast that she has to lie down. It must be a dream. No doubt she wanted to see Madabe so badly that she started dreaming of her. After all, her delusions were so strong that she used to end up in different worlds each night. A simple dream is much by comparison. She's sure of it. Disappointed in herself, she just sleeps. Moon City. When she wakes up, the box is still there. The butterfly, too, is still inside of it. Yumichi entertains an idea. Maybe the butterfly is waiting for the box to be delivered to its actual destination before flying out. Oh. For a while after that, everything felt like a dream, whether she was asleep or awake. When she wakes up, it definitely looks like a normal morning. But then, seeing the wooden box on her desk, it goes back to feeling like a dream. Even at school, even when she's chatting with her classmates, she's always thinking of the moon world. It would be as easy as hiding or throwing away the insect replica box, but she can't. I wonder what walking on the moon feels like. Ending up saying that to her classmate was a tipping point. She knew she had to face the box once and for all. It's been a week now from when she received it. This is a box that was delivered to her here in the day world, but for some inexplicable reason it has Madoba's name on it. Is Madoba's world more than just an illusion? Is it actually real? If so, whoever sent her that box must also be able to travel through worlds, right? However, the delivery didn't have the sender's name on it. There was no label number to look up information with either. Furthermore, when she tried looking up the delivery service that brought it to her, it didn't even show up on the internet. She decided that if she ever got another package from them, she would ask directly. But will there ever be another package? Despite her newfound resolve to face the box, it's still all shrouded in mystery. Asking a classmate or an adult about other worlds could work, but she definitely doesn't want that. They probably roll her eyes at her, and she also feels that speaking to anyone about this would somewhat spoil it. Even if she's decided not to go there anymore, her memories of those worlds are still dear to her. She doesn't want those memories to be made fun of or dismissed as impossible. Today, the friends she usually hanged out with all just so happened to be busy and went home early. She wanted to go home too, but she felt that staying in her room for too long would drive her insane. There's still time before sunset. Yumichi rides on a train. Oh yeah. I hanged out with friends too. It's been a while since she's last been to this part of town. As she flows with the crowd out of the station, her mind at first is blank. But little by little, her thoughts start spotting in her mind. Hanging out. Wouldn't it have to be hung out? Hanged out sounds wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but to my mind, it definitely sounds wrong. She remembers what the moon world looks like. There's something that has always confused her. If there's no moon in this world, how does she even know what the moon is? She already knew about it before going to the moon world, a yellowish round celestial body that you can see at night. And even if they don't know about the moon world, her classmates know about the moon too. Maybe they learn about it in some picture book, or in a textbook, or in a novel. But then again, why would people in a moonless world write about the moon? She lets her thoughts flow freely as she moves with the crowd. That is indeed weird. As she goes with the of the city, she eventually finds herself in a familiar The city is always full of people. You can never see the same view twice, and memorizing all that you see would be impossible. If you close your eyes for a second because of a passing car with its blinding headlights, when you open them up again, the view has already changed. Yumichi likes how fluid and ever-changing the city is. View. As she strolls, her mind comes up with a different view than what her eyes are seeing. A forest of lush trees, a roaring splashing waterfall, the waves on a beach. She doesn't know if she's ever actually seen any of these things before. She tries remembering what the city is actually supposed to look like. Crowded pedestrian crossings, the bustling district full of bloggers, the damp alley, and of course the street she's looking at now. If she doesn't keep herself grounded like this, she feels like she might lose it. Alright, anything in here? Splashing. Oh. The alley. I mean, sneaked out is... No, absolutely not. No, it's only hung out. You are hanging out? But it's... you hung out. And my... oh my god. What's wrong with my screen? There we go. Here I was losing my mind, thinking, oh god, really? Because the only way I've ever... I use English nowadays is by just going what sounds best into my mind. I cannot tell you how anything works grammar-wise. I'm just like, I don't know. Could be. Could be. Sounds good. Yeah. A car runs through the street at a concerning speed. She wonders if she'll ever have to ride one herself. She doubts she ever could. Where are all these cars headed anyway? They surely all have different destinations, but they all move together in a huge flow spreading through the city. Oh yeah, you'd think that, right? I still don't like driving, and yet I am the designated driver. Almost all the time. Anything else? Alright, just checked. Oh, is this the same view? Yeah, okay. This view gives you the same option as the other one. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, as she goes with the flow of the city, she eventually finds herself in a familiar alley. This game apparently has different endings, but I'm very interested in seeing how that's gonna work. Because so far, I don't think I've had like different ways of progressing here. The crowd gradually becomes thinner until eventually she is alone. She's gone with the flow so far that now she's stranded by herself in a place she doesn't know. This isn't even a rare occurrence for her. She could keep walking some more or just go back to Water Station. But on second thought, she does know this place. She has been here once before. It's a street where she once saw a girl that looked like Madobe. Remembering that, she wonders if it could possibly be true. She wonders if Madobe could actually live in this world. A lot of things have gone through her head since she received her package, but she finally realizes something. The delivery meant that someone else in this world knew about the moon world. But what if that someone was Madobe? Maybe she only lives here during the day and goes there at night, like Yomichi used to. Madobe said that she lived in a moon city. Can I really be trusted? English doesn't follow what sounds, or it follows whatever arbitrary rules people back then randomly pulled from a hat. Yeah. But honestly, it works for me most of the time. So. Pronunciation? Or where exactly you stress a word? Not so much. But we're getting there. Now Yomichi is alone in the alley. It's the same alley as back then, but it feels different. Maybe because it's a different time of the day. After hesitating for a while, Yomichi starts walking. Assuming that walking around here she could run into that girl again, and assuming that that girl was indeed Madobe, what does Yomichi even want? Does she want to see her again? She believes that it would be better not to, but at the same time she wants to see her again and talk to her again. In any case, she starts walking, to see Madobe, or to be sure once and for all that Madobe is not there. However this is going to end, she can't leave now. She keeps walking. Oh, hello? Hey! Sorry about that. Hello? This room is so big, but apparently two cats cannot stay here at the same time without starting a fight. Jesus. Right as the sky becomes red before starting to turn dark, Yumichi sees a girl in front of her. The girl she has seen so many times in the moon world is now in front of her in an alley in her own world's afternoon. Hey. Yumichi calls out as she goes after her. Maybe a little louder. Oh. Wait, what did I get now? The end of chapter 3. And also finding all the keywords. Oh. Okay. Well, now I'm definitely interested in seeing how we're gonna get different endings. The first things to lose their shade are the shadows falling on the street. As their contours blur, so does the whole city. The concrete walls look like they have become a thick, heavy fog. Heavy as it is, fog is just fog. I can't keep a building standing. Ah ja. Und jetzt zum schönen Wetter anhalten, oder was? Du. Hm? Mach mal das. Hm? Hm? Mhm. You felt a set of paws stepping on you. Classic cat move. Looking up, Yomichi sees the electricity poles turning into sand and slowly crumbling away. The faintest trace of wind is enough to blow away both the sand and the fog. The asphalt under her feet stood stirring into waves and eventually flows away. Oh boy. Reality is crumbling. Or is it? The city she knows so well from her day world is disappearing. Like the other worlds she visited at night. The houses and large buildings which looked so eternal have crumbled away in an instant. Before long, Yomichi has no idea where she is anymore. The whole city is turned into a homogeneous mixture of sand and fog. And then the cloudy sky goes away. Not the clouds, the sky itself goes away. The sunset-tinged canopy flies away. Uh-oh. Revealing the vast dark space behind it. The stars are shining over Yomichi's head. And maybe we were actually living in Moon City all along. She's standing over white sand. It feels like she's just woken up. It's the same as when a night world disappeared and she found herself awake in a day world. Except this time, the opposite has happened. Yomichi is in a desert on the moon. And in front of Yomichi, there she is. Yeah. Madobo turned back when Yomichi called out to her, standing there. The only things that haven't crumbled away are Yomichi and Madobo. Everything surrounding them has disappeared and then changed into something else. It all happened the second they locked eyes. It's as if the world was waiting for them to see each other. When she sees Yomichi, Madobo smiles like usual. If it isn't Yomichi. And that is what it takes for Yomichi to fully realize that she's in fact in the moon world. More than the sand beneath her feet, and more than the vista surrounding her, Madobo's relaxed voice is what gives context to this whole place. It's been a while, huh? When Madobo laughs, Yomichi can't help but laugh as well. Yeah, you know, I had the fabric of my own reality just crumble away. Had that ever happened to you before? No? Just me? Okay. The two girls are staring at the empty moon around them like they used to. What were you doing? The damp air filling the alley is nowhere to be found. But Yomichi knows that moments before she was in a day world and then Madobo was there with her. Yes, what was I doing? Madobo says sniffing. The desert around them smells moon-like. Then she smells her own clothes. Oh, I remember, she says, snapping her fingers. I was going to a coffee shop I like. It's been a while. Remember how I told you they changed their beans? Well, won't you know, they changed them back. Right. Yomichi can't look straight at Madobo's laughing face. And that coffee shop is in that town, that world you were in earlier? Yep. You were in that world too. Sure was. Yumichi opens her mouth, but she doesn't find anything to say. She doesn't even know how she's managing to stay up on her feet. There must be hundreds of questions that she wants to ask, but she can't come up with a single one. She stands there in silence, staring at the black sky for a while. But there's no point in looking at an empty sky. Looking at it for too long confuses her even further. She starts forgetting where she is, and thinking becomes that much more difficult. But on the other hand, it helps her talk. You can go to other worlds too? She asks in a whisper, so low that anyone farther away than Madobe couldn't have heard her. I can. Since when? Always? I'm not sure. Since when I was about your age, I guess. So you've been to other worlds than this one and the one we were in before? Of course. Do you know about the coffee shop in the tunnel? I don't think I do. What about the floating island? Oh, what's that? Sounds cool. Yumichi can't say anymore. Her chest hurts as if an old scar had been ripped open. She is too focused to just keep breathing. She takes her time to think about what Madobe just said. Oh, right, Madobe says after looking at Yumichi's blank stare for a while. I forgot you just, that age. Yumichi has no idea what she means. She cocks her head to one side and Madobe looks satisfied with this reaction. So you belong to that city? Belong? You were born in our world, right? Yeah? Yeah, I think so. That explains a lot. It does? Yumichi still can't understand why Madobe is smiling. Madobe knows something and is going to explain it to Yumichi. Probably something that Yumichi could never expect. She'd be surprised not to be surprised. But then she realizes something. Wait, she thinks, maybe the one possibility she'd always considered was actually true. Wait. Yumichi stares at Madobe. Could it be there's not just me and not just you and me either? Madobe returns to stare, and that's enough to tell Yumichi that what she's thinking is right. Could it be that everyone can go to different worlds? Yumichi asks her a question and holds her breath. This possibility had only crossed her mind unconsciously so far, but it had. I hope that's true. I hope that's not true. She finds herself hoping for both outcomes. Of course. Madobe gives her a slow nod. We, all of us, live in many worlds, not just one. Oh, Freundchen, du gehst mir langsam echt auf die Nerven. Hm? Ew. Thank you for the vet. That's true of everyone once they're old enough, about your age. When you close your eyes because the sun's too bright, when you space out walking in the middle of a crowd, and someone calls out to you all of a sudden. You don't know where you go and when, but you end up in another world. Madobe looks at the moon city far away. There are many different worlds with different kinds of people living in them. And of course they can all go to all kinds of worlds. And sometimes they can meet with someone in 2 different worlds like we did. But it's pretty rare. You're the first one I've ever met in 2 separate worlds. Yumichi's listening to Madobe's words as if in a daze. Really? Everyone? Like my classmates? My teachers? My mom? Yes, everyone. Well, I guess you're a bit precautious though. Different people start at different ages. How do you know all of this? Who taught it to you? My parents. I was way younger than you are now. You probably don't know because you were born in that world. What do you mean? Do you know about the moon? Huh? I do. I don't mean this place we're on now. I mean the one in the sky. Yumichi turns to her imagination and sees a yellowish-white sphere rising once the sun is down. Yes, I do know about it. But there's no moon in your world, right? Yeah? A long, long time ago, everyone lived on a planet that you could see the moon from. Madobe starts sounding like she's reading a fairy tale. I think that they built a planet you formed to resemble that old planet. Cities, the way people go about their lives. It's all the same as that old planet. I don't get it. So what? They say that the people on that old planet couldn't go to other worlds. She explains, sounding as if she's trying to recall a distant memory despite having never lived through it. Everyone was in the same world, day in, day and night. I mean, it's just something I heard about, mind you. So I guess that over there, speaking about other worlds is a taboo, or a rule you could say. Like the rule that lets you skip in this world. That must make it hard for girls like you. Oh, wait. That must make it hard for girls like you. Madaba continues, looking slightly sad. Your world is a nostalgic one. A copy of the world before people could go to other worlds. That's why nobody ever explained anything to you. Neither your parents nor your teachers. I mean, even if they don't, you're bound to find out once you start doing it. But the people in your world just keep up the pretense. But what about you? You weren't born in that world? Me? No. I was born in a city over there. I couldn't go to your world before becoming an adult. But then, what about my friends at school? They don't know about this? That depends. Probably some do and some don't. Like, some kids fall in love for the first time earlier than others. But why didn't anybody tell me this? Say for sure, since I'm not from that world. Madara puts her hands on her hips and starts thinking. She also knows about Yumichi's day world. She's never been inside a school, but she's run into children about Yumichi's age several times. But think of it like this. You felt like you couldn't talk about it to anyone, right? So nobody heard about it from you either. No, I didn't tell anybody about it, yeah. Yumichi feels like she's listening to a weird fairy tale. She understands, but she's having a hard time believing any of it. For Yumichi, hers wasn't a nostalgic reenactment of life in the good old days where the sky still had a moon in it. Life was a normal thing, the only possible thing. I feel like I'm in another world. Because you are? I know, that's not what I mean. All kinds of thoughts are floating around in Yumichi's head. She can't predict what she'll end up thinking after she's calmed down. All she can do is stare at the desert of one's end. But among all those thoughts, one keeps raising its head over and over. So, everyone can go to other worlds. Yep. My parents, my teachers, my friends too. Everyone. So that means... She finally finds the words to say what she was thinking. So I don't need to live there forever? Madara replies with a quick nod. Yeah, unless you want to. Yumichi feels something on her face. They're slow, calm tears. They feel like somebody else's. They're warm. She feels relieved and anxious at the same time, happy and sad. She clenches her sleeves of her shirt. As her vision blurs behind her tears, she thinks back to the many worlds she's visited so far. Yumichi doesn't know whether Madara saw her tears. She speaks like a parent talking to a child who can't understand a very simple concept. Nobody lives in just one world, except for when they're really young. People live in many worlds. They live in them? Yes, they do. So you live in that world and sometimes you go visit other ones? Not quite. Sometimes I'm there, yes, but I live in a whole bunch of worlds. I was born here, but that's it. It's not like I have to come back to sleep here every single night. It's just another world to me. I see. For you, your world is the one you spend the most time in. But that's just because you're so young. Eventually, you'll have spent so much time in so many places that you feel attached to all of them the same amount. I wonder if it's the same for my mom and dad too. I'm sure it is. You don't know where they are while you're at school, do you? I don't. Sometimes they're with you, sometimes they're not. That's true of all people. Your friends, teachers, neighbors. There are times when you don't know where they are, and there are times when you don't know where I am either, right? Right. Yumichi imagines that someone must have said these very same words to Madara before. She still can't grasp this quite yet. To her, her world is the real one, and the other ones are just illusions that she stumbles into. Illusions eventually disappear, leaving nothing behind. But then again, she saw the day world disappear as well. I thought that my world, the world where I was born, was the only real one. I know. I used to think the same thing. But that's not true. It's not. It's the world in which you were born, that's all. So I have to live in a bunch of different worlds? It's not that you have to. It just kind of happens since you can't choose what worlds you go to. Is it possible that I never managed to go back to the world I was born in again? I've heard of people like that. It depends on you. If you don't need to go there, you won't be able to. Even though I'm not the one choosing where I go? Yes, you didn't choose to come here, but you wanted to see me, right? It's not like I wanted to come here just to see you. So you like the place, this empty desert? I do. So that's why you came. Madoba says that Yomichi can do what she wants. She's not being kind, nor is she being cold. It's just the truth. Yomichi is free to do what she wants. She can live in many different worlds. It sounds wonderful. But Yomichi can't just feel happy about it. There's a huge but lingering in her mind. But is that okay? Yomichi manages to put her thoughts in words. Can I really live here and there in all these worlds? Really live if we're not all in the same world? Have a good night, Mel. Thank you for coming by. So good luck to you tomorrow. Madoba looks into Yomichi's eyes. If we all live like that, then even if we're together, maybe the other person will go to another world right after that. Maybe they live in a completely different way and they think completely different things. By saying it out loud, Yomichi is trying to come to terms with what she's thinking. To her, having just one world to live in is normal. People can live together because that is the norm for everyone. Can help each other and try to improve their world. I don't know how to put this, but shouldn't people all live together and help each other out? She says this with a sniff. Yomichi has to put in a lot of effort not to break into tears again. She breathes in as slowly as she can. She doesn't want Madoba to see her crying. That would be embarrassing. Madoba quietly waits for her to breathe out. I see. You have a point. She said with a nod after waiting for Yomichi to stop talking. Why are there so many worlds? Why do we have to live going from one to another? I don't know. I wish we could ask the gods or our ancestors or something. She adds with a shrug. But you see, she continues with a warm smile. Wouldn't it be hard to all live in the same world? I'm not sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense to her. After all, that's what she had always assumed was true. Everyone has to live in the same place according to the same rules. Not much freedom, is there? Not that I think it's bad, necessarily. But we couldn't do it, so we started living all spread out over many worlds. Probably. We? We who? Humanity? This got really big really quickly. Hi, Raiders, welcome in! Hi! I'm new, I like the color pink, vision of the JRPGs. We're currently playing Moonless Moon. Hello! It has been a bit. Happy New Year! How are you? How is stream? How far along into metaphor are you? Without spoiling me, because I haven't continued since November. Did it? Well, I guess it is big. Madoba says, scratching her head. Let's make it smaller then, just about you, she says with a teasing laugh. Rather than only having one world, aren't you happier being able to come here and see me? Yomichi thinks about it for a while and then starts laughing. Indeed, that makes it all feel smaller, insignificant, nothing worth worrying about. The rush of blood to the head is getting too much. Nah, this is fine. if it's about, you know, not blocking as much of the game as I'm still blocking a bunch, but you know. Oh, you want to finish the game for the end of... Okay. Good luck with that then. She looks up and wipes away her tears. Her damp face feels slightly cold. I guess I am. Of course it's not insignificant. She still doesn't quite understand what living through many worlds means. She's not ready to think about whether it's a good thing or not. But she knows how hard it is to be forced to live in a single world. She hates to admit it, but she was often relieved when she reached other worlds. Maybe it's fine not to feel at home in the day world. Maybe it's fine to treasure your time in the other worlds. She looks at the countless lights far away. She's never been there, but she knows it's a city full of people. They live there, but not just there. There's no single real world, Yumichi says mostly to herself. Everyone has a lot of worlds to live in. Everyone has a lot of places they call home. Saying it helps her accept that reality. It will take a while longer until she can fully come to terms with it. She still can't believe that her parents and friends travel to worlds the same way she does. But at the same time, she realizes that it must be true. People are not strong enough, kind enough to all share a single world. Go from place to place, from connection to connection, living their lives. For a moment, she decides to stop worrying about other people and of a scarily large concepts such as humanity. And now she thinks about herself. And she'll think about herself. I did finish on the 29th. And right after that, I went to visit friends, and then I wasn't home for like a full week into the new year. But I did manage to beat the game, yes. The story. Everything else, the collection parts, and all the mini games, no. But the story is. Can I come here again? Of course. Marabel walks up to Yumichi and stands by her side. Yes, very. We had a lot of fun. They work together like they used to do once. Like they will always do when Yumichi comes back here time and again. Yumichi is excited about the future. The moon desert around her shows no sign of ending. Alright. This is another animated one. Yes. Oh, this one has lyrics. In Japanese that I can't read. You might be going soon. That is absolutely fine. Thank you for coming by and have a good night. Oh, she's an artist. She's a drawing tablet. The barista. Mm. All right. Oh. Oh, that's it. All right. Oh. Okay, yeah. It does feel like a lengthy music video showcase. I'm not gonna lie. Yay! Another game done. My first game in 2025. Woo! But this game supposedly has different endings, so how does that work? Post-epilogue. Hold on. Post-epilogue. No, we're not done yet. Post-epilogue. In the city at night, Yomichi finds herself thinking about, She's walking through the city at night. It's been a while now. When she closes her eyes, the noise grows distant and a flurry thought fills her mind. The desert on the moon, coffee, the Peri, and the insect replica boxes. Oh! Can I choose the different thingies then? What she's thinking about, and then we go there to see an epilogue scene? Probably. Yeah, alright. Well, let's think about coffee then. City at night, Yumichi finds herself thinking about coffee. Ah! Oh, hi, Raiders! Hi, Jin! Hello! Good evening! And Happy New Year! I'm New Year, like the color pink, vision of and Jabberjuice. How are you doing? Hello! I am up here because I've rebranded as a bat. No, I am up here because I was hoping to not cover as much of the game. It is going about as well as you'd expect because I'm still very much covering up the text, but slightly less when I'm on this side than when I'm where I usually am. How are you? How was stream? Yeah, I'm up here. It's not where you would expect me to be. Welcome in. How's Tevin Manager? Welcome in, Raiders. You've reached us towards the end of the game, actually. We're looking at epilogues now. But I'm hoping that's still gonna be fun. You had a great party time? Ooh. Wait, I thought you're managing a tavern. How were you having a party? Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Enjoy your stay. You know, usually I'm not up here. Usually I'm actually on the right side of the screen, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes Yomichi feels like she has a sixth sense. For example, before going around the corner in the school's hallway, she knows that behind her she'll find a classmate. What's more, she even knows which classmate. I thought it's probably nothing supernatural. Maybe she can subconsciously tell whose footsteps make a certain sound, or maybe she actually hears her classmate's voice without realizing it consciously. She knows that the real explanation is probably something like that. Now her sixth sense is feeling something. She feels that when she will open the door, what she will see through it will be something out of the ordinary. Again, maybe this is all perfectly explainable. Maybe it's an unusual sound. Maybe it's the usual smell of coffee not being. Oh? Do you think there's someone else behind the counter now? When she does open the door, the bell bolted onto it rings softly. Hoshi isn't there behind the counter. The old chairs are stored upside down on top of the tables. Most of the lights are off. The counter she always used to sit in front of is covered in bags of coffee beans and dishware seemingly placed there at random. She stops her hand before the door was completely open. The bell makes a weird, muffled sound. Someone shows up behind the counter. I'm sorry, we're closed for today. Oh, Yumichi. Hoshi, was crouching down, stands up as soon as she sees her, accidentally hitting his arm against a shelf. Yeah! You could assume it was a visual novel. Yes, it's a safe guess most of the time. The streams during the week and the streams on Sundays do tend to be visual novels. And I thought to myself, you know what? We're starting off the year with what I can do best, and that is read. So that's what we're doing. One of the cups on the shelf falls on the floor and shatters. Oh, that's not nice. I'm guessing he's moving on then. Can't tell if I'm cleaning the place up or making it even dirtier, huh? Hoshi says while collecting the broken cup pieces with a dustpan. I'm sorry, it's because I walked in on you. Oh, no, it's not your fault. After picking up all the cup shards, he puts them in a paper bag and seals it. Then he grabs a marker pen and writes dangerous sharp on it. To make sure he hasn't missed any, he switches the light off and takes another look at the floor. He switches the light off to see if there's any more shard. That doesn't make much sense. He places the paper back on the counter and then looks around the shop. So, ignoring the cup thing, does this place look tidy to you? The place is not tidy in the slightest. There are things thrown around everywhere, particularly behind the counter. All the shelves are open, and the content has been placed onto the tables. Empty bottles, old cans, dirty bags, bags full of trash. Yumichi sees these and many more things she didn't even recognize. Also, thank you for the hydrate time in the pack. You tidying it up? She asks while sitting down at the counter. The counter itself is so full of things, piles of cups, used matches and more, that she can barely put her elbows on it. Good question, he replies with a shrug. He takes a cup from the top of the pile and starts scrubbing it with a piece of cloth. The cup didn't look particularly dirty to begin with. I can see why it would give you necrobarista vibes, this specific world at least. You know, with the cafe bar thingy or whatever. I can see why it would give you those vibes. But we don't actually spend a lot of time in here. Are you leaving? Yumichi asks without looking him in the eyes. I am. Why? I've got enough money saved up and I'm starting to get bored of this place. Will you open another shop somewhere else? Probably, but that could be next week just as well as next year. Yumichi grabs the cups in front of her. Grabs the cups in front of her, but seeing that it's empty, puts it back next to the one that Hoshi has just finished scrubbing. To be fair, it has been 3 years, I think now? 3 years since I played Necrobarista, so it has been a while. So you're tidying up because you're leaving? Yes. I mean, I can't really say I'm tidying up. Just look at this place. Hoshi throws away the rack and sits on a wooden footstool. Looking at Yumichi, he rests his elbows on the counter. His face gets close to hers. They were always looking at each other from opposite sides of the counter, but this time it's different. He doesn't work here anymore. At least he'll stop soon. I figured that whoever will run the place after I'm gone would be annoyed if they could feel my presence. You know, traces of my being here. That's why I'm dirtying it up. The next person will stop by tidying it all up again, and then it'll be their own shop. Fun, right? Hoshi's voice is not as composed as usual, and the novelty makes it harder for Yumichi to follow along. Also, I wouldn't want them to draw any conclusions about me just by seeing the place. I think they'll draw a conclusion or two when they see the state of it. I'm not worried about that. I'm doing it on purpose after all. Say, someone points out a quirk in the way you speak. Isn't it way more annoying if it's something you'd never notice it yourself? Wait, that's still him. Say, someone points out a quirk in the way you speak. Isn't it way more annoying if it's something you'd never notice? You'd never noticed it yourself. Okay, I think that's an it too many. He says with a laugh. She rests her head on her hand and wonders if that is really the case. The people of this world, including Hoshi, are probably too different from Yumichi for her to understand them and their way of living. anything. Maybe she never truly understands what he means. Well, if the decor hasn't ruined your mood, can I interest you in a cup of coffee? He says while fumbling around looking for the coffee siphon, which was under a bag of beans. Oh, yes, please. Now she stands up and washes his hands. When he does it, it somehow looks cool. This is the first time you've run a coffee shop, right? I thought you had to brew coffee and stuff. Huh? I just winged it. Yomichi imagines that maybe the people in this world are all just born with the talent for brewing excellent coffee. Slightly disappointed, she waits until she can smell the usual aroma. I don't think you're just simply born like that, though. Usually. It's on the house, Hoshi says, and so this time Yomichi's tears just fall onto the table. He's captivated by the small droplets surrounding the saucer. On the other side of the counter, Hoshi, once again sitting on a footstool, is also having a cup of coffee. Doesn't it make you cry? His eyes look as dry as ever. Oh, no, I can't make myself cry. Saving would be really easy if I could. You said you saved up enough, but... Yomichi runs a hand across her face, touching her tears with her fingertips. But they don't turn into coins or anything like that. What happens to the tears you get from customers? Hoshi is taken aback for a second before regaining his composure and giving her a nod. Yomichi realizes that she must have just asked something extremely obvious, so obvious that the people of this world would never bother talking about it. It's not something she would normally do. As much as possible, she liked to behave like the people originally from that world do. The chaotic state of the shop has made her let her guard down. Today, anything goes. And more importantly, today is probably the last chance she will ever get to talk with Hoshi. It's not something you go showing around to people, but... She takes a small leather pouch out of his pocket. He loosens a drawstring, keeping it closed, and puts 2 fingers inside. When his fingers come out, they are pinch accepting. To Yomichi, it looks like they're pinching onto a speck of pure light. It's a gem, shining to an almost blinding degree of brightness. It's as bright as... actually much brighter than any diamond she has ever seen. She can't believe it's just reflecting what little light is inside the shop. If anything, it's lighting up Hoshi's face so much that she has to believe it is actually producing its own light. What is this? She asks bedazzled, and Hoshi eagerly explains. It's a tear. Yours. Well, he quickly adds, I'm not sure it's yours. It could be from some other customer. Then he puts away the gem. It looks like there are many more where that came from. The sheen remains burned into Yomichi's eyes for a good while. He has turned into gems? Yeah. After you get tears, you grow them with love and care. Well, you just let them sit, and eventually they turn into crystals. And we collect them. Hoshi shakes her leather pouch, making the gems inside jingle. Thinking of it, the gem may kind of look like a teardrop. And once you've collected them? Your wishes come true. Huh? This is as much of a composed reaction Yomichi can muster. Literally. You need more for a bigger wish, but in general, they make all wishes come true. Also, I'm told. Told? Seriously? I've never met anyone who's had a wish granted so far. So you were... lying? Joking? No, I'm that serious. It's just that nobody ever uses them. She definitely feels like he's pulling her leg, but on some level she can trust him. He's neither lying nor joking. Over the dim light in the shop, this really feels like a dream. What's your wish then? I don't really have one. Then why are you collecting those? Maybe someday I'll get a wish I want granted. Gotta be prepared. Instead of pondering just how serious he is, she decides it's much easier to stop thinking altogether. Mood. Understandable. To be honest though, I can't imagine what I'd even wish for. I enjoy my life, and even if I didn't, I could just change it. Man, I'd love to go through life as nonchalant as this guy is. Move somewhere, change my name, start over. I can't imagine having something I wish for that much. He puts away the pouch and looks up. Just looking at this mess is enough to make one lose focus. I'm pretty sure I'll die before I use any of them, he says with a self-deprecating laugh. Somehow Yomichi agreed. It's not just Hoshi. All of the people in this world have the same approach to life. They don't know what to expect from the future, and they don't care that much about the past. The concept of doing something one day does not quite make sense to them. They live in a moment, and the world around them defines and delimits that moment. Yumichi tries imagining how it would feel, and it's uncomfortable, but she knows that for them it's nothing of the sort. Even if they reach their deathbed with all of their gems unused, they probably won't have any regrets about it. Suddenly the loneliness hits Yumichi. You won't be here the next time I come? Probably not. Say, can I come with you? He looks at her. Surely this is just one more difference between the people from those two very different worlds. The idea of someone coming along with him when he leaves the shop has never crossed his mind. He doesn't reply immediately, but he doesn't look like he's searching for an excuse to say no. You'd better not to. I can't really explain why. No, I get it. Sorry. Yumichi takes the cup to her mouth once again. He takes another sip too. I've been here for so long that maybe I'm not one to talk, but I don't think you should get too attached to any one place or person, especially with someone as little grounded as I am. As he says this, he winks at Yumichi. Do you ever go to other worlds? Of course. I don't just live here. He travels to worlds just like her, but she can't imagine how his life in any other world could be like. Then again, this applies to any person she has ever met. She only knows they are like in the world she meets them in. I spend a lot of time here because I like the place. I spend whole days hiding here. But, he continues, I can't limit myself to this. There are people I know all around different worlds and some are even waiting for me. I guess I come here to run away from all that noise. I was wondering! Because this game does not have a giggling sound effect, and I was also not giggling at the time you mentioned it earlier. I'm like, what? Just hiding won't do though. You never know when you get tired of a place. The more you stay there, the more connections you make. So I need to find new places so I can be free and relax in. A bar atmosphere? What was tavern atmosphere? No, especially because there's literally only 2 people in this specific bar right now. Or coffee shop, technically. It has more of a bar atmosphere despite selling coffee, mostly, I think. A place that one can be free and relax in. For Yumichi, that perfectly described the moon desert. Am I adding to all that noise too? Not yet, but maybe eventually you would. He replies nonchalantly. It's kind of a shock. If you can say that to my face, it probably means it's not that bad of a shock. He puts down his now empty cup. Let some time pass and then come back here again. It'll be a new shop with a new owner. Probably not a coffee shop. Who knows? Maybe they'll sell you used clothing, or they'll do concerts, or they show movies. Let's just hope it doesn't get turned into a bar. You'll be too young for that. I just ordered a glass of milk then. She jokingly says that, but she's actually honestly concerned. The next time she comes here, it will be a different shop. She'll probably know it even before she opens the door. Maybe there'll be a brand new neon sign at the entrance. Maybe she'll hear voices and music inside. All the doors in the tunnel just have a small frosted glass pane on them, and she won't be able to look inside without opening them. It's scary. She lets her real thoughts slip. She nods in agreement. I'm scared too. Going on a journey is scary. Why do I get so nervous about going to places I don't know? But that's not stopping you. Yeah. It's scary, but still better than the alternative. Staying in one place forever and rotting there. Yumichi gets that feeling. When you spend all your time in one place, surrounded by the same people, you start growing roots. Sometimes those roots become so deep that moving away means being torn apart. Forcing herself to move away before she gets too attached is how she protects herself. While she puts the empty cup in the sink, she wonders if he'll wash it before leaving. Well, if next time you come here you find it's not the kind of shop you like anymore, you can just stop coming. I bet there are a lot of other nice places around. You could just wait for the new owner to leave and the shop to change again. Yumichi isn't sure of just how much time that would take. What shop will you set up next? I don't know. I'll figure it out once I find an empty place. This world's tunnel is very, very long and has many, many rooms. Hashi himself has said that he doesn't know just how long it is. The people hop from room to room with a seemingly endless array of temporary residences to choose from. You can't even begin to imagine how many rooms of people there are here. Maybe if we're lucky we'll meet again, he says. I bet you'd be a totally different person by then. And you too. More than me, actually, since you're still growing up. Maybe I won't even be able to recognize you. You have a point. If they ever got to meet again, they would both... Yeah, they would both different people. Fuck yeah. Hoshi wouldn't be a coffee shop owner anymore, and Yomichi wouldn't be a young girl anymore. The personalities and ways of dressing may have changed as well. Most likely they wouldn't be able to connect with each other in the same way as they do now. But that sounds fun too. Yomichi's sad about losing a place she feels comfortable in and not being able to see Hoshi when she comes here anymore, but she's being honest when she says it sounds fun. She wonders what they would look like and what they would think of one another if they ever met again. Maybe she'd feel nostalgic, maybe she'd feel disappointed, or maybe yet she'd be the one disappointing him. Not all that the future holds is pleasant, but she still looks forward to it. And there's just one thing about the future she's sure of. She's sure that from now on she'll think of this place whenever she drinks coffee. She's grown roots into this place, and maybe the day will come that she will regret it. Maybe eventually she'll even forget about it. But not completely. It'll become a distant, harmless memory that pops back up from time to time, unable to influence the present in any significant way. Pointless maybe, comforting. There's no harm in having a cup of memories like that. She finishes her last cup of coffee, looking forward to the day when this flavor will have become a treasured memory. A single tear falls from her face and onto the counter. Aww.
Ooh, and you get a picture too. Ending 2, Tunnel Coffee Shop.
Uh-huh. Okay. How do I get back to that screen so I can choose the others? Thank you for the pad. How do I... I press start. Does it start from the beginning? No! I can just go here. Exactly where I want to be. Yes.
The Prairie.
Oh goodness gracious, Raiders, hello! Good evening! I know I like the color pink, Vision of Uncertainties, but currently playing Moonless. Moon. How get cheesed? Oh no! I'm getting cheesed. Hi Nano, hi Hailey, how you doing? Our stream was Marvel Rivals. Welcome in. What's a Pikachu for the Raiders? Of course.
Pikachu. Vega. Pikachu.
Welcome. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Wow, we're getting cheesed. Sorry, by the way, I'm up here because I'm trying to not cover as much of the game screen, but it's going as well as you can see. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Enjoy your stay. After taking a deep breath and filling her lungs with the scent of fresh grass, Yomichi opens her eyes at an unusual sight. She didn't expect her to be there, but there she was. The wind is gently flowing over the prairie all the way to the extremely close horizon. A small stream is running through it to eventually fall down into the blue sky. In front of Yomichi is a small hut. The air she has been enjoying was the floating islands. The woman standing there is facing away from Yomichi. Usually she only leaves the hut to tend to a field or to the sheep, but right now she's doing neither. She's just standing there. At least that's what it looks like from here. Yomichi isn't sure whether she should speak to her. However, this island is too small to ignore each other. Hello, Ito. Oh, Yomichi, I don't remember what voice I gave her, even though that was just an hour ago. She turns around, showing a tired face. What are you doing? Nothing in particular. After staring at Yomichi for a while, she sits down on the grass, hugs her knees, and points to her side with her gaze. Yomichi takes it as an invitation and sits down next to her. The wind's caresses have made the grass cold. What about you? What? You asked what I was doing, right? What about you? Oh, I was at school until now. School, huh? Do you know what that is? More or less. There's no school in a small world, and Ito's never been to any other one. How are the other worlds like? They're all different, I guess. Are they scary ones? You could say that. Are they dangerous ones? You could say that too. Have you ever thought that you were going to die? No, nothing that bad. Oh, there was one time though, Yumichi says, recalling an episode from when she was a little child. Before I even started going to school, I almost got run over by a car. I thought I was going to die then, maybe. You would have been isekai'd in the most literal sense of the word. Maybe. Ito asks, hugging her knees even harder. I only have a vague idea of what a road is, or what a car is, for that matter. But you didn't die after all. Yeah, I got lucky and got away with just a few scratches. But you could have died. Yeah. Are there a lot of roads and cars? So many. I see them every single day. Maybe that's how it started. Isn't that dangerous? I guess it is. Well, it's definitely more dangerous than this place. I figured. Yumichi looks at the endless expanse of grass around her. Of course, it ends abruptly into a cliff after just a short while, but you can't tell while sitting down. If you forgot about what you know for a second, you'd even think that it literally goes on forever. What about you? Have you ever thought that you were going to die? Never, Ito immediately replied. Not once, ever. She doesn't even need to search her memory. She knew this was certainty from the start. Yeah, this place looks very safe. Ito gives no reply. The wind blows and the grass sways. The clouds fly and the sheep bleat, eating grass. What a peaceful little picture. So unnaturally peaceful that it looks like someone has painted it that way. Sometimes a cloud will change its shape or a sheep will move a few stops, but all in all, it's still the same peaceful little picture. It's like time doesn't move here. It'd be impossible to feel one's life threatened in a place like this. Everything is just so slow and relaxed. Even if someone brought a car here, it probably couldn't run any faster than a person. The air around here feels like it could make even engines feel more relaxed. Exactly. Ito's reply does not sound as peaceful as its surroundings. For Yumichi, who is almost falling asleep, this feels like a slap in the face. Time doesn't move here. Nothing ever moves. Nothing ever changes. The words betray a hint of dismay. It'll all look the same tomorrow, and the day after that, and next year, and probably forever. Yumichi starts feeling scared. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. It's never been a problem for me. Yumichi cannot tell why Ito sounds so worried, so she just quietly waits for her to say more. As for Ito, after listening to the streams gurgling for a short while, she turns back. She's looking at a small wooden hut where she lives. Yumichi also turns to look at it. It is exactly the same as when Yumichi saw it for the first time. Well proportioned, considering how small this island is, but way too small to imagine that someone lives in it. It's so unassuming that you start imagining it's hiding something. Yumichi sees something moving inside the hut's small window. It's a person. Wait, what? He suddenly came here the other day, Ito says. A boy even smaller than me. He was standing there by himself in front of the door. It's not rare for me to have visitors, but he was a bit different. He was lost and didn't know how to get back home. The reason for Ito's worry has now become clear. And so now he's staying here. The window shows the same silhouette moving behind it once again, but it's too blurry to tell it's a young boy. Now Yumichi understands why Ito was outside. She was confused and worried because of the situation she had never experienced before, because of this change. A small change in a world she had always thought would never change. Yumichi can tell whether the boy inside the hut is looking at them or not. She tries imagining what he looks like. Is it okay to leave him by himself? I think so. He had some soup and he calmed down. I wonder why he came here. I have no idea, but he probably had no reason to come here. He wasn't even trying to come here, he just happened to. Well, I guess the same goes for me too. I just happened to get here. That being said, Yomichi's situation is very different from the boys. In a few hours, if not less, Yomichi will have left to another world. She can't even imagine how it must feel for the boy who doesn't know how to leave or where to go. Maybe it's his first time going to another world. Was your first time like that too? Getting lost and being stuck in a world for days? No, I think it didn't even take me a full hour to get back. Oh. Ito's shoulders droop. Even though it's never happened to her, the idea of getting lost in another world makes sense to Yumichi. She was told that different people start traveling through worlds at different ages, and maybe the way they get there depends on a person as well. She has no doubt that the boy is scared and confused. However, she has no clue on how to help Ito out. She doesn't know how to send the boy back to his world, or whether sending him back home is a good idea to begin with. Actually, Ito says, facing away from the hut, something like this already happened once, back when my mom was still alive. A little child walks in and ends up staying with us for a few days, but it was so long ago that I don't remember it well. See, what happened to the kid? After a few days, suddenly the kid disappeared. Went back home, my mom told me. Ito goes on to make a point out of this story. I think it's bound to happen every once in a while. Someone comes here, stays for a while, and then goes away. I have to prepare 2 beds and cook for 2, but it's no big deal, and having someone you can chat with is fun. She explains that even with this unexpected guest, life isn't that hard. Still, she says, clenching her small, slender hands, I didn't know that change could be so scary. As she looks at the blue sky, her eyes are still as clear and dry as always. Tomorrow isn't the same as yesterday. That means that maybe tomorrow won't be the same as today. And I didn't know that this was so scary. I don't mind the boy. When he's gone, everything will go back to normal, right? Yumichi doesn't know what to say. At first, she didn't even understand why Ito is so scared. He thought that her fear came from how limited her worldview was, how limited her world was, a world where time does not move. Strangely, as she looks into Ito's eyes, she starts thinking back to when she was in middle school. Specifically, her first day in middle school. Most people from her grade school go to the same middle school after graduating, so it wasn't a big of a change. A different building and a different teachers, but little else. Nevertheless, she was scared. Scared of going to a new place and meeting new people. It wasn't the school she'd been going to after that day. The first time she stepped into a classroom, she felt out of place. Maybe Ito is feeling something similar, but way more intense. Today being different from yesterday can be not scary. She looks around at the timeless world around her. The wind will move the grass and change the shape of clouds, but the world itself remains unchanged. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow all look the same. She turns back once again toward the hut. The silhouette behind the window is the only thing she can see. Where's that boy from? Why did he come here? Those may be reasonable questions, but not important ones. Even if the boy suddenly disappeared, that wouldn't make Ito feel better. She's scared because now she's aware of the possibility of change. I wonder, will he ever go to another world? The question just popped into Yumichi's mind. I don't know. Yumichi can't explain why, but she's sure that it will never happen. This world does not change. The grass sways, the clouds move, and the sun circles from one horizon to the other. But those are just parts of a never-ending cycle. New houses won't be built, cities won't be founded. That could be this world's rules. There's no change, and everything stays the same way forever. Usually, Ito lives within the scope of that rule. Her life does not change. This world's rule prevents it from doing so. That could be a bad thing, or it could be a good one. Yumichi remembers a conversation the 2 of them had at one time. It was about knowing nothing about this unchanging world and only living within it. Maybe this is what our ancestors wanted. Living in the middle of a calm prairie where time does not flow. Change is scary. Ito mutters those words again. But maybe that's why that boy came here. Ito's looking at the wind flowing through the grass and thinking. Her thoughts too flow through her mind and eventually leave her mouth. Yumichi silently listens. When he first got here, he was very scared. I don't know what he was scared of, and he was trying to hide it, but I could tell. I don't think he doesn't know the way back home. I think he just doesn't want to go back. Maybe he doesn't even have a place to go back to. Ito takes a deep breath and continues. That's why he came here. Here nothing changes. Whatever the boy is scared of can't get him here. Which made me realize maybe that's what this place is all about. Maybe way back then, way before my mom was born, Someone came here because he felt just like that boy. And sometimes people keep coming because they're scared of the way things change. They want to be in a place where nothing ever changes. Hearing this, Yumichi realizes that maybe this holds true for her as well. This world is a place of rest and comfort. You know that whenever you come, you will always find the exact same world waiting for you. At that time, after mulling over her worries for so long, Yumichi decided to stay in her own world forever. But that wasn't the only choice she had. For example, she could have chosen to stay here with Ito for a while. So if things never changed, will that boy stay here forever? She wants to know how it would have been if she had chosen to stay here. Now, knowing that everyone can travel through worlds and can have more than one place they call home, she doesn't know whether she would have come to the same decision. However, Ito shakes her head. No, the boy will leave eventually, she says without a shred of doubt in her voice. Nothing changes here, that's true, but not completely. Sometimes people like you come to visit. Sometimes they bring gifts, food, clothes, and so on. I couldn't make it here without that connection, even if it's a very small one. And as long as this world is connected to places that change, little by little, it changes too. She runs a finger across the buttons on her dress, buttons that came from another world. Buttons that are definitely not drawn in this portrait of her, but okay. I wish I could cut the connection and make this a really unchanging world. Then it would stop being scary. But I couldn't do that. Just think of the weather. Sometimes there's not enough rain, or there's too much. It's the visitors from other worlds that help me out at times like those. If nobody ever came, I wouldn't be able to live here anymore. A wind gets stronger and makes Ito's bangs sway over her forehead. Heavy clouds gather above. Yumichi has never seen it rain in this world, so this is a bit surprising for her. But if it never rained, the river would dry up and the grass would die. Maybe there's nothing that never changes. Yumichi states the obvious. It's an obvious concept, but one that you would rarely think about. When you're living through a series of unremarkable days, it's normal to imagine the days like those will keep following forever. You're right, but that's why I don't want to change, Ito says, putting the palms of her hands together. I wish there was at least one place that never changes. I wish that it was this one here. She's explaining this to herself as much as to Yumichi. She needs to put her wishes into words to truly accept them. To Yumichi, it looks like she's praying. Maybe knowing nothing about the other worlds and never changing are bad things. But I'll stay here, so that the people who come can feel safe. She's praying. She doesn't know for whom. For herself, who is scared of changing, but also for her visitors, and at the same time for neither. She wishes there was an unchanging place, even if it isn't here, or even if it is. This is what makes it a prayer. She hasn't decided or resolved to do anything. She's just praying. Ito pulls her hands apart and stands up. I feel a bit better after talking to you, Yumichi. Her mind is still wavering, but the steady steps she takes towards the hut don't show it. I know. I felt better after talking to you too some time ago. I can tell. You look like you're enjoying yourself. To say the truth, Yumichi is still as confused as ever. She can't quite convince herself that everyone can travel through worlds and then her own native world is specifically run as to hide this fact. However, she feels that it's a matter of time, and that it will start to make sense eventually. Truth will slowly reach her like the rain seeping into the earth drop by drop. The same probably applies to Ito as well. She doesn't need anyone to explain anything to her. She needs time. After enough time, she will understand why her ancestors decided to come to this world. A world built out of the fear of change and a wish for stability. An unchanging lifestyle is what keeps drawing people in. Yumichi stands up as well. Can I come stay here too if I'm feeling down? Ito turns around to face Yumichi and gives her a gentle nod. Yes, always. Yumichi smiles. The word always has never made her this happy before. So which one is this? Ending 3? Yeah! Where are there buttons on this dress? Tell me. On the back? Wait, how many endings do we have? I know I skipped the moon epilogue. I should have started with the moon, but I feel like, you know, you kind of end with the moon desert, so I didn't want to do that ending first. Let's see. What else is there? Yumichi finds herself thinking about the insect replica boxes. Oh, I guess those are also an ending. Okay, hold on. While doing the desert, we're gonna... It's ending 1 then. We're already here, we're doing all of them. Might as well. So why did I get here the second we locked eyes? That's probably because the two of us always meet here. Madaba explains while squashing the sand with her foot. The sand of the moon desert makes a small noise when you step on it. Since there's nothing else in the way, the sound keeps expanding and expanding, and sometimes a series of footsteps turns into a melody. Is that it? I think it is. We meet here, it's the one place we share, so when we find each other somewhere else, we immediately get here. And you know, there are a bunch of people who will never meet because they don't share space. You can't go through every single world in a single lifetime. See. Yomichi thinks of the people who she will never meet because they will never happen to be in the same world. In a way, it's not so different from living in a big city. Even if you go out every day, there are people you will never run into. There are a lot of those people, but feeble as the connection may be, these people are still connected to Yumichi in some way. It could be a friend's friend, or a friend's friend's friend. Yumichi and Madobe keep chatting as they walk together. A friend's friend. No, a friend's friend's friend. Oh, I did say it right. And they've talked as much as they could, walked as much as they could, and have run out of topics. Hey, we're back. Yumichi realizes the night surrounding her is the cities. The people are noisy and the streetlights are bright. The smell is familiar too. The smell of the moon desert has disappeared, but she's not sad. Going through the scramble crossing, she walks past several people. She can never start a conversation with any of them, but she knows she shares one thing with them: this world. At the same time, she knows that this is not all there is. There are places far beyond the city, and worlds far beyond this one. All of these people travel to different worlds just like her. After blinking, it looks like some of them have disappeared. She wonders if they have just gone inside a building or behind a corner. Maybe they have, but maybe they have gone to another world. Of course, Yomichi has many places that she could be too. The moon, the tunnel, the floating island, and all the other worlds she has visited so far. All the worlds she lives in. Maybe eventually she will stop coming here to sleep at night. When she starts living by herself, she could move to the moon. She kind of likes the idea. On the other hand, that means that not everyone is living in the same world, and there are many people that she will never be able to meet. Somehow that feels slightly lonely. However, she thinks that this is simply how people live. You step aside not to run into people, and you look down not to lock eyes with them. Everyone lives on their own, so that everybody can be themselves. We are not all forced to live in the same world. This is not the real world. There's no such thing. There are many worlds and people live in many of them. The city is full of life and light, so much so that it almost makes Yomichi dizzy. She decides not to fight the flow of the crowd and instead see where it will bring her. She likes being alone among all these people, just as much as being in the moon desert. She keeps walking through the city at night, alone. Oh, okay, ending 1 is very short. Okay, I see. You should normally start off with ending 1 then. That makes sense. This game is such a vibe. It is. Okay, one more ending then. Meanwhile, here I thought, oh god, wait, if ending 1 is gonna feature the moon desert again, maybe it's gonna be like long, but I guess that was wrong thing to say. Okay, one more. What happens if we think about the insect boxes? Because those were not explained. The butterflies have not been explained. Let's see. thinking about the insect replica boxes. That should be... Yeah, that's the last one. There only happen to be a few people on the train. Yumichi looks through the window in front of her. She's ridden this train time and again, but the view for some reason feels new. The business neighborhood with its tall glass-paned buildings, the district with all its small liquor shops, then houses and apartments. And the closer they get to the next station, the taller the buildings become as a whole. The view in each neighborhood is so different that even though all these spaces are in the same city, they feel like different worlds. This difference would be accentuated even further if you were walking through them. You could see the smells. You could see the smells! The sounds and even the ways in which people greeted one another change. The sentence overall makes sense, but the way I pronounce that, you could see the smells. Right. Once she's reached her station, she gets off the train. She's the only one doing so, which is a rare occurrence. Everything feels a bit different. Maybe it's the time of the day. She's enjoying a day off after test week, but for most people in the city, this is just a normal weekday afternoon. However, the same city as always was awaiting her past the thicket gates. More people than you could count, with so many voices mixing together that you can't understand a single one. The sun mercilessly hits them after a short detour being reflected off the building's windows. This crowd is exactly what Yumichi wanted. Suddenly her nose picks up something. It smells like the moon. Lately she's been able to predict what world she will go to next. Maybe predict is a bit of an overstatement, but she can take a decent guess based on what is around her and what she feels at the moment. And after her intuition suggests that it doesn't take long for her to actually go to another world. Maybe what is around her and what she feels are conditions for her to be able to travel at all. Yumichi goes around a corner and into an alley shaded by the neighboring buildings. The crowd's voices are suddenly more distant, and this is enough for her to feel alone, even though there are still people not far away. And we're back on the moon. But before long, she's on the moon. She sniffs around, and sure enough, it smells like the moon. Ever since her discussion with Madobe, she has been traveling to other worlds more and more often at sunset. It's like she's been told the time she spends in those worlds has increased as well. She still goes back to her world to sleep, and on weekday mornings she goes to school. Never goes to another world while there are people around. It only happens when she's by herself. She looks at the city far away and then remembers what she has in her bag. Here, Madobe. She takes a box out of her bag. It houses a replica butterfly. This was delivered to my home a while back, but there's your name written on it. Oh, really? Madobe, looking slightly surprised, looks at the box. Should I give this to you? That's right. I confirm the receipt of one wooden box, she says with a joking seriousness as Yumichi hands it to her. What's that anyway? I guess you could say it's something you're supposed to deliver. Am I going to get more of those? Probably. So should I just bring them to the person that's written on them? Yep. What if it's someone I don't know? I don't think that can happen. You probably only get ones that you can actually deliver. Yumichi makes a vague noise showing she understands. There's still so much she doesn't get, both about the Moon City and about the replica boxes. Even if the Madobe told her about the truth of world traveling, she still hasn't spoken to it with her parents or friends. She can't be certain that her classmates travel through worlds the same way she does. I wonder how people first started traveling through worlds. That is the biggest question in all this. Traveling through worlds goes against all common sense in her world. After all, Madobe told her that people couldn't always do it. Madobe says, looking at the sky. I think this is the answer. She looks at the box that Yumichi has just given to her. Then she carefully opens the lid. The wind hits the butterfly's wings, making them flutter, or at least this is what it looks like. But there's no wind here. The wings flutter again, and then they keep flapping until the butterfly breaks free and flies out of the box. Finally free, the butterfly keeps dancing in the desert air. What even are these things? Let's see, how can I explain it? Madobe mumbles to herself. Yumichi has never seen her with such a serious expression on her face. They're like guests. No, more like masters? Nah, neither works. She keeps thinking to herself as the butterfly flies above their heads. It looks like a perfectly normal butterfly, except for the fact that normal butterflies don't come back to life after they've been pinned to the inside of a box. Yumichi imagines all the other butterflies in the boxes she has received so far. Maybe they also broke free just like this. How can I put this? Madabel looks as if she's giving up on thinking. Long story short, they're aliens, you know? Yumichi can't even laugh at this. Alright. Madoba explains that a long time ago, all people lived in a single world. They'd wake up in the same world, walk in the same world, and sleep in the same world. That was normal for them, and they had no other option. The single world was too small for all of them, and this eventually led to trouble. Like they didn't have enough space to build. Like they didn't have enough space to build houses anymore? Yomichi asked. That too, yeah, but not just that, Madobe replies. She continues with her explanation. Different people have different values. Every one of them wanted things to change, but in different ways. One world was not enough. You get into arguments with people too, right? Sometimes that's enough to make things right. But not always. If an argument between two people turns into a dispute between two factions, that can be catastrophic. And depending on how bad it is, it could even be too much for the world. The one world that everyone shares to ever recover from it. Eventually, living in that one world all became too much for people. Of course, they ran out of space, but more importantly, they ran out of confidence. More and more of them started accepting the end that loomed ever closer, exacerbating the problem. And then, out of nowhere, these butterflies arrived. Annabelle looks up at the one flying over them. It looks like a butterfly, but it's not one. It's not a replica nor a dead insect, and the box it was in is not a simple box made of wood and glass. To use a simple, if not particularly correct, analogy, the boxes are spaceships, and the butterflies are spacesuits. Butterflies themselves are just being controlled by something else that resides inside of them. So they really are aliens. Seriously. Monopa doesn't know how the creatures inside the butterflies look like, or if they are even alive at all. Nobody knows that. Maybe someone used to know it a long time ago, but that knowledge has since been lost. You could say that they came from another planet, or that they came from another world, or maybe from some other place entirely. Nobody knows. All we know for certain is that humans, in their despair, asked them for help. And it was them who gave humans the power to travel through worlds. And in exchange, we've become the vehicles. Madaba says while showing the empty box to Yumichi once again. The vehicles? Like trains, buses, airplanes? Actually, I think we're more like highways. You mean we're just roads? Yes, they know how to travel through walls, but they can't do it on their own. We didn't know how to do it, but we had what it took to actually do it. Imagination. They taught us how to travel through walls so that we could bring them around with us. People receive a spaceship, a wooden box, and bring it along while traveling to another world. Once there, the box opens and the creature inside can reach its destination. Even since we abandoned our original planet to start hopping from world to world, this is how we've been living. All the boxes I've gotten so far, is that what they all were? Yes, they all were aliens who wanted to go to your world, but this last one wanted to go from there to here. Nobody knows why the aliens want to travel through worlds that much. It could be part of the mission, it could be to do business, or they could just be sightseeing. Moreover, this doesn't really matter to people. They're just vehicles who are supposed to carry the aliens from point A to point B. Okay. And that's why we're all spread out through the world right now. Madobe gives the empty box back to Yumichi, who carefully examines it. No matter how many times she looks at it, it's just a box. This story, is it real? The butterfly flying over them looks like nothing more than a butterfly too. Yes, I swear. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. It's just what I've been told. It's a legend of sorts. So it could all be a lie. That's possible. Madobe nods, but then makes a different point. But looking at the world you were born in makes me pretty sure it's true. Definitely looks like you people are trying to make life look like it was before, when everyone lived in one world. You know about the moon, but you don't have a moon, right? I guess. Yumichi thinks about what she knows about the world. So talking with you, I started thinking that maybe the mountains and the sea were the same too. It's a small planet entirely covered in cities. You leave a city and you're already in the next one. There's no sea, no mountain. But we know about those. We have books about them, stories about them, and so on. Makes sense. Yumichi feels like she's come very far. The world she has always lived in is exactly like the old world Madobe described. Everyone lives together with no mention of other worlds. It's not easy to start believing in the world being abandoned or in aliens coming to save us. Sure, it explains certain confusing things like the moon, the mountains, and the sea, but it doesn't sound very reasonable. And if what Madobe said is true, it means that the life Yumichi is accustomed to is doomed. Or rather, that it was already doomed a long time ago. But why couldn't people all live together? As far as she's concerned, sharing a single word isn't that scary of a thing. You know, when there's too many people around, stuff happens, right? I'm not so sure. At school, for example, she has classmates she goes along with and ones that she doesn't. And having to spend time with the latter can be unpleasant. But that is just a small issue between two people. It's difficult to imagine how it could involve all of humanity. How do humans feel when they turn to the other worlds? She remembers a heated argument she once had. After that, she locked herself up in her room and started crying. The idea of talking to people was terrifying, and she wanted to remain alone forever. She wanted to escape somewhere far, far away. Maybe the people who spread through all these worlds were feeling the same. Maybe. But, she says, looking back up, even if we're divided into this many worlds, we're not all alone. The butterfly seems to have flown away. I met you. I met other people. I'm living by meeting all of you. She looks around, but there's no sign of the butterfly anymore. You're right, Madobe says while looking at the sky. It's a huge black sky. It makes you feel all alone in a huge black cosmos. But you're not. I don't mind it then. Yumichi looks at Madobe's profile. She tries thinking back to the first time the two of them met, but she can't remember. The meeting was too much of a normal, unsurprising thing to be memorable. Even if you have all these worlds, I'd be lonely if I had to live all by myself. At this point, Yumichi's mumbling to herself more than she is talking. But Madobe heard her, and with a smile she casually says, "You're right." They look at the sky with the butterfly no longer in it together. They keep chatting. You used to be able to see the moon from the world where people lived a long time ago. That means that from that moon you can see that world as well. If this was that moon, what would that planet look like? What would that lonely world look like? As she stares at the empty black canvas above her head, Yumichi lets her imagination run free. What would that look like? Ending 4, Moon Desert. Alright. Thank you for the pet. This time for real. That is all endings. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, wait, that actually means that I can go back to where I'm supposed to be. Yippee! I feel slightly more comfortable over here. There we go. Where is Huddle? That is a good question. Interesting game. I did not think it was going to be aliens that gave us world traveling. Not gonna lie, that's certainly not what I expected from this game when I went into it. But this was fun. This was fun. I'm definitely going to try and see. I know they do sell the BGM on Steam, but I'm going to see if there's any other way to listen to that music on the go as well. Because there's some very nice songs in there. Aliens inside of butterflies. Ah, yeah, maybe this truly was our alien stage. What? Wait. Wrong franchise. Interesting. Alright. That is our first game of the year done. I mean, I knew it wasn't a very long game, but this was perfect actually for the stream then. Lovely. I had a good time. There are a few typos in the text there, but honestly, it's not that many people who worked on this, I think, and there's just one person who translated it. So kudos to them. This was fun. Definitely. They were already working on a new game. They announced that at the end of last year, that it already has a page on Steam as well, and the next game they're working on is called Girls Made Pudding. Yeah, I know I'll be checking that out once it comes out. Thank you for an extreme note. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for staying. What a fun experience. But that is going to be it for tonight. We're going slightly over time. I need some sleep. So for now, I'm gonna send you guys over to Tipa, who's playing Inscription, which is a slight change to what we were doing, not gonna lie. But thank you guys so much for coming by tonight. Have a good night. I'll see you on Friday for the Snufkin game. Have a good night. And bye bye. Bye bye bye.